Nerdrotic.com.
Yeah.
Whoa. Ooh, that got loud fast. Let's do that again. Woo. Hello. They decided to, in my neighborhood, sometime randomly, they might turn off the power. I'm just saying, because of the deep freeze last year in Texas, all the infrastructure, I guess, is going underground. They need to change transformers. And it just could happen, or it might not, because it was supposed to happen the last 3 days, and it didn't. So we'll see. We're going to forge ahead with the Nerdrotic Nooner. Welcome, everybody. My name is Gary Beekler. I come to you from Nerdrotic.com, and this is, of course, the Hump Day Nooner, where I am joined by Chris Gore from Film Threat. What's up, Chris?
Hey, Gary. Thanks for having me again. I can't believe it. This is awesome. Always great to chat with you, and also great to be in the same room, well, virtually, as Quarter Black Garrett. So This is awesome. I'm excited to be here.
Namaste.
There's too much to discuss. Too much.
You are getting a little, yeah, and he is getting a little namaste down there, isn't he? At least he's not wearing his fucking man bun today. Jesus.
Oh, I'm gonna get it cut. I'm thinking I'm gonna cut it down. I'm gonna trim it, not all the way off. But I'm gonna trim it down.
No, why?
Yeah. Well, it's just getting a little frayed at the end. You know, try to trim it up. Plus, my wife is like, "You look like a greasy nerd. Trim it down."
What's wrong with that? Oh, okay. Well, she's saying trim it down, then that's what you got to do. The whip has been cracked. There you go. Especially when it's like baby mama, quattro baby mama. Yeah. Okay. So, lots of to talk about. There's the CinemaCon thing happening. There doesn't seem to be like, it's not earth-shattering news from CinemaCon. It just seems like, here, let's talk about the 4 movies that are coming out in the next 6 months. That's what it feels like to me. I still probably would have liked to have gone because it's in Vegas, so next time we'll probably go. But then there's the glorious Twitter meltdown, which has been glorious. It's been wonderful. It has been a great 72 hours on Twitter, probably the best 72 hours I've ever had on that platform. I didn't mind spending a bunch of time on it, just reading and laughing my ass off, which the memes have been great. The meltdown has been great. As the kids say, the copium has been, it's been great. Everything's been great. I mean, I've seen people out there saying we won. I wouldn't go that far. I'd say we're winning a battle. We're winning right now. Winning. Yeah, but I think you should also enjoy it. You out there have earned it. You're not insane. You weren't taking crazy pills. Shadow banning exists. And I know there's going to be, okay, listen, there is shadow banning in like Quarter Black Garrett's case. Very charming fellow associated with Crowder, gets demonetized, shadow banned. And then there's just not very good YouTubers. There's a difference, okay? There's a giant difference. So let's make that distinction right now.
Yeah.
But we're talking about the very good people who have been shadow banned, like at least talented. Like, they're putting in effort, their content is good, and all of a sudden, like, it's just, you don't see it anymore. Like I saw Dean Cain.
Fawcett gets turned right off.
Yep.
You don't get shared. You literally find out that there are hidden options and settings for Facebook, just to put that out there, that have you blocked, that say do not share stuff from Steven Crowder, don't share it from Tucker Carlson. This was an actual leak that came out of Facebook. So like shadow banning is a real thing. It was definitely a real thing on Twitter, because I was telling you guys earlier, I experienced it I had a Twitter account that was unknown basically, and then I joined Steven, and over time I got more interactions, and then it started going down, and it got slowed, and then it just hit this plateau for a long time. And like you guys were saying earlier, yesterday, the last 2 days, I've gained 2,000 followers. That's kind of crazy. In the last 2 years, I've gained followers, but not at the rate of 2,000 in 2 days. Like that's crazy,
ridiculous. Tucker Carlson.
Who knows? Maybe it's people coming back to the platform. Maybe it's the faucet getting turned back on.
Could be.
Who knows? But it's just strange.
Within
it's a little
the realm
weird.
of possibility. Yes. It could also be that they just turned the faucet off because they wanted to hide the faucet from fucking Daddy Elon.
When the plumber arrives to fix the issue, just turn everything back on quick.
What does Neon call him from Clownfish? Space Daddy? I like that. Yeah,
Space Daddy, chill.
That's probably what it's. And the people are going, it's got nothing to do with it. It's not going to take over until October. Dude, he's already in there.
Shit's cleaning house, man. They're cleaning all the house. They're cleaning it out, man.
Definitely.
They're burning the files.
Well, they've definitely done something. I mean, the one thing they put a hold is, I worked at a tech company for a couple of years. I understand, you go through these things called sprints. So you come up with like, what are the improvements you're going to make in the next version? And you're always updating, right? Like for some companies, it's more frequent. You do a different version of your app. All of that is on hold. That's very interesting when Elon is like, no more, you're not going to be messing with it, because they could put some things in there that could screw it up. But I gained 700 followers yesterday for no reason whatsoever. I post on Twitter maybe a couple times a week now. Mostly I just retweet and promote things that I'm involved in. But to have 700 in one day just out of the blue is completely unusual. Second thing is, one account you want to pay attention to. I know everybody talks about libs of TikTok. You have to look at Sarah Gonzalez. Do you follow her?
I was going to bring her up next.
Yes.
Sarah Gonzalez. She did a series of tweets. First of all, she went on a tear on Monday, but all the tweets were like things you formerly, like previously,
you could not say.
Could not say. And these are just sort of, to me, like basic common sense truths. There's nothing. She's not saying. I don't think she's saying anything radical, or she's not saying anything hateful. She's just saying truths. And she did like this whole bunch of them, and she got reported, but then nothing happened. Did you see? You should check her out. Yeah.
All of it. None
crazy.
of the reports came back, and she didn't get blocked for any of it. The winds are changing.
Dude,
people.
it was so good. She's like, being fat is not healthy.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Anthony Fauci is full of shit.
Yeah. Only women can give birth. It's so good.
Yeah.
It was, benign stuff that in normal society is okay to say, like ivermectin works, because it does.
Yeah.
It does what it's supposed to do.
And I mean, YouTube, depending on the person, I guess, I've been able to get away with a lot of stuff, but and it's been pretty good, because I know there is factions in YouTube that fight for us in Google, but there are factions who can't stand us. So I think there is throttling. We just talked about it during the election. All of YouTube got basically, our sphere got shut down, absolutely shut down. I have never had a time where during that time of the election, I gained like 2 subscribers over like a 2-month period. That's just never happened. I put out the same amount of work. It's not like I wasn't putting out stuff. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, this might be it. That's it. It was a good ride. I was even talking about it then. Happy with what I got. I'll just roll with it.
I remember that. You were like, man, I don't know. Like, I enjoyed what happened. Yeah,
it was fun. I'll just roll with this. And
it's an election year, so everything all of a sudden stops getting shared around.
Yeah, weird.
It's kind of funny how that works.
It's weird.
It'll be interesting to see what happens whenever Twitter does not have the power that it does for the next election. Because they were, every time you go to the Explore tab, it was a negative story about conservatives or whatever, or it was not showing stories that are massive things like the laptop. Not getting any play. Now, what's going to happen? Are they going to be any different?
Yeah,
I'm interested to see.
I feel like we'll know that Twitter's really changed when there are certain tabs you can't, like, I would actually prefer that the tabs when you go to like search or see trends, I'd like to pick what trends interest me. I would like to be able to customize my experience. And there's one tab that has been there for years and I feel like we're done with, and that's the Koof tab, right? Yeah. The Koof tab, you cannot, it's always there. It's always there. And to me, to see the meltdown of that attorney, I'm not going to try and pronounce her name because
vagina.
Yeah, it sounds like, but she broke down in tears, I guess, during some meeting.
Oh,
but she is the one who personally, and you saw that exchange on the Joe Rogan Experience, the show, back when it was on YouTube. So what is that clip from 2017? I think, is it? It's older clip, but it's Jack and her and Tim Pool, who was kind of the first guest, and like Tim called her out and called out Twitter, like, you are politically biased as a platform. You are biased. No. She is the one that is personally responsible for stories being suppressed, and I don't know. I cannot wait for her to be gone. I mean, that'll be a win, and I hope that what Elon is doing with Twitter influences other platforms to maybe look at and he has completely the right philosophy, which is why I don't understand why people don't like Elon. I mean, I understand why people don't want their ability to bully and the power position that they're in, their fear of losing that power position. But when Elon says, look, I believe in free speech up until what was his tweet talking about? The law, exactly. And it's like, the law is decided by the people. So if the people want to change the law with regard to free speech, well, then Twitter can adjust. But as long as it follows the law, that's exactly what it should follow. Who would argue with that, no matter where you are, on what side of the political aisle you're on? You should be in favor of that. You should be in favor of that.
Absolutely. And, you still have a block button. You still got the mute. And not everybody's going to just, I love how everybody goes to the N word. Like that's like their thing with, right. It's like, I'm not going to go there. I just would like to say that, there's something kind of funny about that election. That was weird. That was strange. I can't.
Maybe a couple questions are okay.
Maybe, suppressing just wanting to audit elections. I think everybody would want to audit an election. You could audit them to death, but let's give them a good, impartial audit. Let's keep a impartial, chain of, I forgot what it's called. It's
custody?
Chain of custody. Thank you. Chain of custody, which we did not have. These are things that everybody should be very concerned about because once we lose confidence in that system, and it's all based on confidence, that's all it's based on is us believing in it. Once we stop believing in it, it fails.
Yeah.
It fails. Yeah. And I mean the majority of us. And we're well on our way. They fucked around that much. They got away with that much. So, yes, the shadow banning is fucking everywhere. It's here. It's Twitter. It's Facebook. And, yeah, all the other big tech companies are a little nervous right now. Just like all the Hollywood streaming services are a little nervous because Netflix is failing. It's weird how all this is happening all at once. It's so strange. It's almost like there's consequences to things.
Almost.
It's
pretty great.
You can't avoid them forever. You can kick them kick the can down the road, but you cannot avoid them forever. And I think this is kind of a reckoning a bit. Hopefully, it doesn't wreck everything. Now that's the problem.
I'm waiting for all of the leftists on Twitter to start going, they're shadow banning us. My tweets aren't getting reached. Whenever all they did for 6 years straight were nothing's happening. Nothing is happening right now.
Well, it's
nothing
weird.
to see here. It's all in your head. All this stuff is in your head. And now all of a sudden, you saw, I hate to get more political than we already are getting, but Jen Psaki going up there saying, we are really concerned about big tech companies and the power that they have over the American people. I was like, what the are you?
Now they're concerned.
You're concerned now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And now they're talking about 230. And this is what I talked about.
Yeah.
Like I talked about, I was like, we don't want the government involved in any way, shape, or form in this. That's why I hated when Republicans talked about it. Now I hate it worse because I said eventually Democrats are going to talk about it. And you know who's going to shut everything fucking down on YouTube first? California. California will be the first to attack it. You know, you're there. Gavin Newsom, if he sees money, if he can make money off this, if he finds a way to tax it, if he finds a way to tax that people are getting paid off it, he's going to find a way to fucking shut it down. They tried to shut down Airbnb. They tried to shut down fucking Uber. Anything free market. They tried to shut it down until they became part of the system, which kind of was worse. But, you know, that's the way it is.
They absorbed it and owned it.
They absorbed it and owned it and go, okay, well, we'll be your Huckleberry. That's basically what they did. So, yeah, California will be the first to come in and fuck with everything. So that's not a good thing. And it was right after current President Obama made a speech saying that we need to break down, go, get rid of misinformation.
The tides are turning, though. That's the good. Take the white pill, like you said.
World's
enjoy
greatest
it
speaker.
while it lasts. We'll see.
World's greatest speaker, as long as he's reading.
Very charismatic.
Very.
I don't know. I'm going to take Frank Herbert's take, which is don't trust any leaders in power. That's what Dune,
I like that.
Yep.
That's what Dune's overarching, one of the themes in it is that don't trust charismatic leaders. In fact, the more charismatic, usually the more damage they do, which is why he hated JFK, but he actually liked Nixon because Nixon, you kind of knew who he was. I mean, the guy was an asshole, but like JFK was awful because he got us involved in Vietnam. He's very charismatic, so he could push through and get things done, but these things were not always in our best interests. So he kind of based Paul Atreides off JFK, which is weird, but yeah, there you go.
Well, I think the same thing is true with Elon. You know, don't just trust Elon because he's coming in and sweeping away the people that we knew were trash. You know, I like Elon for a lot of reasons, and I think he's probably, I'd trust him more than what they have already at Twitter.
True.
But until he starts really doing something to change it, you know, still question. I think it's not a time to put your guard down. Just celebrate the fact that we're slowly making the moves toward better discourse.
Yeah, and it shows that we got to keep fighting. Like every time, because like this could get slapped back. Don't get discouraged. Don't be all black pill. Don't. Yeah.
Never black pill. If you like Lord of the Rings and J.R.R. Tolkien, you should never black pill because the whole story is about not black pilling.
Yep.
That's Samwise saying, no, we're gonna have a trek back. We're gonna get back. You know, we're gonna win.
It was about fighting a
Eric
losing
July
battle.
always says, we're going to win. We're winning.
It was about fighting a losing battle. That's what they knew. They were like, this is like, our chances are not good. We're sending some midget into hell. And, our chances are
Think
just
of how
not
many
good.
times they could have black pilled, man.
Yeah.
They're at the gates of freaking Mordor. They could have black pilled and like, oh, well, this is all screwed.
Yep.
I guess we'll just give in.
The dead marshes, black pill.
Yep.
Dead bodies floating around, little candles lighting. Nah.
I never thought of it that way. That's a great way to think about it. It's just that positivity and optimism, I mean, that's like the whole soul of Luke Skywalker is built on that, right? It's like, no, I'm not going to, the traditional way to resolve that story would have been that he kills his father and defeats the bad guy, but the bad guy is his father. Can he be redeemed? Which is a very Christian story. It's, about redemption and so I loved Luke Skywalker as a kid. It was just like, okay, no matter how bad things get in my life, all the little stuff swirling in my world in, junior high and high school, whatever, like Luke Skywalker kept his head up high and was positive no matter what, the circumstances were. And Luke Skywalker did the thing that there's a whole book about this, Save the Cat, right? Save the Cat, which is about like, a way to kind of connect with a hero. I mean, literally in the Richard Donner Superman, Christopher Reeve saves a cat out of a tree. Ripley in the original Alien saves Jonesy the cat, which yesterday, I don't know if we brought it up. Yesterday was Alien Day,
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
426. Yeah.
Yep.
LV 426 was the
nice.
planet where they, anyways, I posted something on the film threat, Instagram. It's like, it's like a fake poster of like, Alien, the short version. And it's Jonesy picking up the little alien that burst out of Kane's chest. It's just which is funny if you go to that. It's
how it should have ended.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I think the Alien franchise had two good movies. And, I actually kind of liked where Prometheus was going, but did not, I at least like the setup of it. It
didn't. Yeah, it ended up not going there. Hey, we got a quick super chat. The Grizzly for $20. Thank you very, very much. Grizzly says, what do you think of all the delays of every movie in the next few years? I completely forgot that there was a new Jurassic Park movie coming out next month because of all the movies have just stopped advertising themselves. Yeah, it's
It is kind of strange how they have been doing that. You're not even sure if the upcoming release date is the upcoming release date because they may at any point just push it to next year. I don't know. I don't get it. I get it why they would do it in 2020, and I get it why they would do it kind of in 2021. But now everything's ramping back up. Why would you push it?
Oh, I think the reason for that is that, then Gary's brought this up, is the habit's broken. The habit is broken. Now, I don't think that's true necessarily in where I am in California. I mean, like I go to the movies mostly every Thursday night. I'm at the movies, same theater. I'll see whatever movie's opening that day. It's packed. It is packed. I mean, it is. Although I'm always kind of weirded out when I sit next to someone wearing a mask in a theater and we have our assigned seats and they're in a mask and I'm not, because I'm not gonna wear a mask. It's over. It's done. I'm done. And I always get this nervous tick, like I start to cough, and I feel bad for the person sitting next to me because it's like a nervous reaction. Like, oh, I'm sitting next to someone who's a hypochondriac, I guess.
Yep.
Or who knows? I don't want to judge too harshly. Maybe they have some, and I feel bad. I'm like, all right, well, we're going to enjoy the movie together. Good to see you. I mean, exactly. But the habit being broke. I mean, maybe in certain parts of the country, I think it's starting to come back, but it's just the habit's not there. And also, like, I do think there is a thing, and this comes up with every review I do on the Film Threat YouTube channel is, well, how woke is it? Like
you just got to have a constant meter now, right?
There should just be like have that actually be a determining factor.
Woke-o-meter.
It's so bizarre. And now this stuff is like, did you see the thing that Google, I have to look for the story, where like in documents, they want you to use more in Google Docs, which I use Google Docs all the time for my business, for a lot of different projects. And now they want you to use more inclusive language, and Google Docs will suggest things, like that annoying paperclip, which I always would turn off.
Yes.
On Microsoft stuff.
Yes.
So now in Google Docs, they're suggesting more inclusive language. And another thing, I don't know if we've talked about this, but Final Draft has a lot of tools for screenwriters.
Yes, it does.
This one new tool about, is your script diverse enough? That is
I want to use that. I want to just write a script, the worst script ever, and use that tool.
You can literally because you can generate reports in your script, like how many lines do the characters have, how many locations do you have. These are useful tools for.
Does it have the Bechdel test? Is like the baseline for the AI?
100% that'll be next. But
does this fit
a new report? Final Draft is probably the screenwriting software that's used most by like TV and movie production.
So your remake of Birth of a Nation wouldn't pass the test.
Wouldn't pass.
I don't know. It could be pretty
would not
diverse,
pass.
right? I mean,
you could
parts of everybody in that.
Oh, shit.
But But yeah, no, that is an actual feature. God, I gotta find. I'll find the story. And but like, yeah, because I use
ridiculous,
right? Like it's really great. I've used it.
Are you using the right pronouns right now? That's going to come up, right? You're furiously typing away on your script. I'm like, I'm on a roll. Oh my God, this is going to be the greatest thing. Like, ding! You didn't use the proper pronoun there, Chris.
Yeah.
That would be shitty.
So a friend of mine who's a working screenwriter who does a lot of stuff. He says now people are putting in screenplays. They're putting in screenplays pronouns in screenplays now, which is bizarre. Yeah.
Google Docs criticized for woke inclusive language suggestions. So yeah, it's a.
Oh, did you find it?
Thing, yeah, it's an article on it.
Yeah, isn't that weird? Like,
wow. I see. It's totally an easy thing. While you're writing away, it goes. Well, could you actually? What about this? Oh,
it's like
use this instead. Use this.
It's like sitting next to some annoying woke person trying.
That's what Google is an annoying person that's sitting next to you, constantly going, "Would you like to buy this? Would you like to actually change your whole lifestyle and your religion and everything?"
It's like that dumb paper
Google,
clip.
man.
I always hated that paper clip. It's just like,
I know.
Are you writing a letter? Yes, go away.
Fuck
like,
off.
I know what I'm doing.
I don't need you.
Yeah.
I just need a blank page. I don't need your suggestions, you know? And so this is worse than that freaking paper clip. And that is where we are now. That language is being policed by AI while we're just trying to use a tool. So
Google trying to manipulate culture slowly
through they are. God, I'm trying to remember where I saw somebody talking about this. I can't remember where, but they were talking about the school system and how easily it was to take over. Basically, it was just with a few radical people decided to volunteer for. There was one example of doing the PA and the announcement, the morning announcement. So one teacher's like, "I'll do it for you. It's okay." And you found out that teacher went, "Oh yeah, it was in it was at the end of that that JSG video where they were talking about how easily the teachers took over." And yeah, she just took over the morning announcement, and she just started throwing in as much LGBTQIA stuff as she could in the morning announcement. That's how they do it. So this lawyer gets a very powerful position at Twitter, and who's to say that she's not being fed, or she completely agrees with the politics of the New World Order or whatever the fuck it is, and she is one of their agents or volunteers. We don't know. Or she's just all about it. Either way, that woman had power over our election. That should never happen. She wasn't elected. What is her fucking background? She works at a fucking, at not even the most prominent social media network. But it became the most powerful through the blue checkmark system and through the media. Through the media, it became way more powerful than it was. Thing wasn't making that much money. Doesn't make anywhere near what at any other social media, but it still wields a ton of power. So I still think,
and it was making less and less every year.
Yep.
Like it was going down in quality, in user base,
and quite frankly, it won't be like, I know Donald Trump isn't going to come back, but like he would add, the value would go up so much because the media misses him. They fucking miss him. Of course they miss him. That'd be ridiculous. I think Alex Jones should be back right now. Babylon B.
Alex Jones, Babylon B.
Yep.
Wait, isn't the Babylon B back? They just haven't tweeted yet. Is that the case?
Is that true? I don't know.
I think they probably are. I think that.
I know some, like their execs are, like their creative guys are still on Twitter, but I don't know.
Maybe they're waiting because the way they ended that video of Twitter jail, it looked like they did get out. They did get out. Yeah.
Hopefully, a lot of people getting their stuff back, except for Az. Man.
What happened? Wait, Drunk 3PO's back. With his original account.
Drunk got his back.
Jeremy got his back. But Az didn't get his back.
Sorry, buddy.
Oh, poor Az. he did the worst thing. He did like Elon can't even bring him back. He did the worst thing. He said all men must die. That's all he said. Oh shit,
man.
But to answer your question, about the film delays. Yeah, I totally agree. It's confused the market, right? So well, wait a minute. I just saw a DC trailer that said all these DC movies are coming out this year. So, and there's a lot of people who are not going to know they're not coming out until like they're going to go, what happened to that movie? I thought it was coming out. Oh, it got delayed. Didn't you see it in the Hollywood Reporter? No, I don't read the Hollywood Reporter. I don't read any of that.
I have
shit.
a job.
I have a fucking job.
Right.
Yeah. You just told me it was going to be out in 2022. Told my kid it was going to be out in 2022. My kid really wanted to see Batman and whoever the weird looking dude playing Flash was. And yeah, that movie's going to be a disaster, dude. It's going to be a disaster. And I agree with whoever said it out there. They are absolutely expecting Spider-Man No Way Home numbers with this. That's what they are expecting. The bankers
not gonna happen.
The bankers do not see any difference between Tom Holland and Ezra Miller. They think they're the same person practically. They have no idea what the public thinks of these two actors. They just know like, hey, the last one made $1 billion to almost $2 billion. Well, our movie with a bunch of superhero cameos should make $2 billion too. That's how dumb they are. They're really dumb.
It's just weird that Ezra Miller gets away with what he's gotten away with, just his public bad behavior, and it's not been addressed, not even by his representation, saying he's going into rehab, he's doing this happened. I mean,
they're staying hush because Flash isn't out yet. They don't want to mess that up.
Exactly. Is it Ezra Miller or Vezra Miller? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I think
you don't want to assume.
Surprising thing out of the whole story was like he likes girls. I was shocked.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Wait,
I never would have guessed
utterly
that.
Shocked.
No. Fake news.
Fake news. But either way, he is very popular amongst certain producing circles in Hollywood. And I think he'll be able to get away with anything short of murder, and maybe even that. Who knows?
It is Hollywood after all.
Yes, it is Hollywood after all. It is Hollywood. Enoch Maman for $20 says, hello there. Hello there, Enoch Maman. Thank you. Good to see you here. And we got, oh my God, Mazit Wazad. Is it supposed to be like, you're supposed to say wizard, but like you're going, like Lord of the Rings, Wazad, like that? Is that what we're doing? It took me like a year to figure that out. I might be right. I might be wrong. We must rally. Oh, by the way, it's for $100. Not a by the way. Holy shit. We must rally behind the wrongfully Twitter banned Englishman. No, it's New Zealander, British American. Okay.
He's a Kiwi.
Who was thrown in the gulag for merely uttering the phrase, all men must die. We tweet to Lord Elon as if our lighting the beacons of Amandine and Minas Tirith. This aggression shall not stand. Hashtag free as. Hail!
Free as.
Free as.
Free as. That's great.
Oh my God, the lighting of the beacon scene makes my nipples hard. I fucking love that scene. It is like one of my favorite scenes. The music is so good.
And it's going across the land.
Yep.
And then he sees it and he... so good. So
Go
good.
Parade.
The beacons are lit.
The beacons are lit. You're just like, yes. Wow.
I'll be doing a review of all of these people who were banned for stupid reasons. What if they're really taking a look at everyone that's banned? Like in Drunk 3PO, like out of the blue, not like, and I'm not saying maybe Elon Musk does know who Drunk 3PO is, but like, are they going to do a review of these ones where it's just like, I don't know, but I feel like there just needs to be some equal way that like you look at like people that don't get banned for saying things that are far worse. And I'm like, how does this person get away with it and this person does not? It's clearly there's bias there, but there has to be some new review process, at least with new people brought in.
Well, now that there's a changeover at Warner Brothers, I'm wondering if I can talk about this.
Well, did you see Henry Cavill, Superman, which trends, I think, at least a couple times a month, is trending today. So I don't know why they just didn't say, and we're developing a Superman movie with Henry Cavill. Are they still moving forward on those other Superman movie projects that are?
I don't know. I heard
this. Make this. It's right here. It's fucking. You can make a trilogy out of it. It's fucking awesome. Oh God. God damn it. Sorry. I'm not supposed to do that anymore.
he's just born
Gosh
to play
darn it.
Superman, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Look, with maybe just a better script or whatever. Did you see his statement where he talked about that? Like, this was him, and a lot of fans talked about that too. People who like that movie, not Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, but other people who like Man of Steel or defend it. That this was his first outing as Superman, really, with the first challenge. Now he's learned, like, hey, don't have a fight where people can get killed in buildings. Like he kind of, but Henry Cavill actually spoke to that he's interested in developing this character and now like having some, gaining some wisdom and use of his powers, right? This whole thing when they did the Death of Superman arc, it just happened too early with the character.
Way too early, yeah, because Superman still
Way too early.
he needed to earn trust with the world first to become, and they decided to do that through his sacrifice of death. I'm like, why can't you just have him save some puppies and cats in a bus full of kids?
Like
stuff?
Superman stuff.
Like Superman stuff. Like
They kind of did it off screen in between the two movies. And there's a little bit of it in the beginning of BVS where like you see him saving some people and they're kind of worshiping him godlike, when he goes to, I think he went to Mexico for something. But I don't know.
Yeah. Like there was some,
not enough.
There was not enough.
Yeah, not nearly enough.
And there was definitely something there that they cut off early that they shouldn't have, because what they ended up with was garbage, and the Snyder Cut was 1,000 times better than what they ended up with, in my opinion, as a superhero fan. But we're not going to know now. That like Henry Cavill is not young, so they need to like within the next 6 years get him to be Superman, or it's over. It's done. Like he won't be able to do it. Like because
Yeah, he got gypped. Everybody got gypped, really, because it was WB trying to ramp up this story and get to Justice League so fast that they went through all this stuff when you need the time to kind of build up these individual characters before you start throwing them all into one movie, and you kind of bastardize Superman in a way. Like you took him from being a Superman that doesn't really know what he's doing and gets a bunch of people killed in a massive attack in a city, straight to fighting Batman, and then you're in Justice League and he's dead. Like fighting Batman dead, Justice League, he's alive at the end. And he's like the quintessential Superman. It's like, but
all that stuff
too much. And you skip too much.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we're never going to get to Mr. Mxyzptlk. That's my main concern.
Oh, dude,
he was mentioned, but we're never going to see him.
Yeah, we're not going to see like a proper Brainiac. There's a lot of things we could have gone to that we're not going to. Now we're going to get right to Supergirl, who's not even Supergirl. We already got Batgirl, who's not Batgirl. They're talking about theatrical release. That, by the way, I can say definitively, there's no decision has been made on that. No decision has been made on that.
Did you see, Gary, that Josh Brolin actually tried out for? Ben Affleck beat him for the part, but Josh Brolin tried out, and Josh Brolin just strikes me as he would be perfect if they made Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns.
Yes,
if they have to age him up a little bit, but he's just this sort of.
He'd also have to wear stilts because he's really.
I was going to say he's short.
He's not a tall guy.
He's not a tall.
No, he's
That's
not.
probably why he didn't get the role. Like Ben Affleck's tall, and Josh Brolin is tiny little guy. He's a tiny, tiny little man.
Carrie Kelly, if they cast her right, she doesn't have to be very tall at all.
No, she doesn't. Well, they had her cast, and the girl who was cast was like the hot one from the Hunger Games.
Right.
The hot
chick. But then they never paid that off, right? They never.
No, they never did. Yeah. The kind of hot one from the Hunger Games. Yeah, I thought she was kind of hot.
I remember reading Adam Driver was supposed to play Nightwing in BVS. It's just like, were these just little nuggets that like?
Yeah, there was a bunch of crazy stuff. There was supposed to be a Nightwing movie. I remember back when they were talking about. There's a Batgirl show and a Nightwing movie. And I'm like,
oh no, it's terrible.
I'm sorry, I'm not a Nightwing fan. I always thought. Do you remember the old school costume where he looks like he's doing like
the gold
escapades? With the
golden
collar.
I love Nightwing.
I like Nightwing, but like Adam Driver. No,
Adam Driver, he's too old and he's got his face.
He looks like John Travolta. It'd be like John Travolta playing fucking Nightwing. What's going on around here, Batman? Come on.
There was a lot of cool stuff coming out of the news about Nightwing, talking about they're trying to find somebody with martial arts techniques, and they can actually do the gymnastics to an extent, kind of what they did with Tom Holland, where Tom Holland actually has some gymnastics experience and stuff like that, so we can do some of those moves. But too bad WB is retarded.
Yep.
I think they're going to be less so going forward, because it sounds like the people in charge are at least looking to make films that are profitable. Unlike Marvel at this stage, where I kind of think Marvel's best days are behind it. Let's. I mean, that's kind of
3 years ago.
Yeah.
Endgame 3 years ago. I saw a tweet. It blew my mind. I was like, they've been floundering for 3 years.
Yeah,
They're never going to get back on the top like that. It happened right at the end of a decade, which is trends change. You're just not going to be able to ramp that back up.
Yeah, these things
It's going to be too hard to do.
Right? As you know, Chris, these things take tons of time from concept to fruition to release date. It's years. We're now about that time away from when Kevin Feige completely took over the MCU. Like, it is his show now. Like, he runs every aspect of Marvel, right? He oversees the comic books, the fucking games, fucking everything. Is like the buck stops with him. It's too much shit for one guy who's not truly a creative. I think he's got like probably pretty good producer instincts. I would not argue that. But his name is attached to a lot of those duds from before the MCU that people just automatically forget about. Like, he's right there. For one, he was attached at the hip with Avi Arad for a long time. I don't think they like each other. That's just especially since Avi Arad thinks he stole Marvel from him. But aside from that, which he might have. Who knows? I mean, we don't know. Avi Arad's not great either. But it's his call now, and we're getting like milquetoast boring at best. That's the best possible thing you can hope for, is some milquetoast fucking Disney Plus show, which we haven't gotten yet. They're obviously very inexperienced at TV, like really inexperienced at TV. It's not something.
Shows.
Let's just start making TV shows, although we've never really done it before, and we could just do it. We'll just take movies and stretch them out. We'll take our, because I promise you, Chris, the Moon Knight show was a Moon Knight movie script that they repurposed into a TV show. And the same goes for Boba Fett, same goes for Obi-Wan, same goes for fucking WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier. All of it were all movie scripts that they just like, oh, well, we'll just pat it here a little bit there, throw in some agenda. There we go.
It's what they did with Boba Fett.
Yeah.
It's the Disney way.
I just think it's a lot of inexperienced people at a lot of levels, whether it's the showrunners or the writers. You're looking at very inexperienced people running the show. And this is why none of these shows have really, and they've sort of like culturally like fizzled out, right? Like, there's not that like debate or discussion, online about these shows. It's kind of like, it's almost like, they're just trying to like push it so hard. It's not working. And for me, it's just inconsequential events that happen between the movies. And I really just care about the movies. It's kind of like, so none of them have grabbed me. Moon Knight, watched the first episode and just didn't care after. And now, and I feel vindicated every time, because then I'll just see everybody complain about how terrible Moon Knight is. And I'm like, dodged a bullet. I saved myself 6 hours of my life where I can watch like other shit. Like, I saw this bizarre another Indian movie. Other countries are kicking our ass, by the way, when it comes to like big spectacle cinema. I saw this movie called KGF Chapter 2, which is basically, I don't even know how to describe it. I'll describe it simply. It's like a crime lord, like sort of based on Scarface, took over the entire state of Florida, turned it into a gold mine, and went to war with the White House and the United States. It's so over the top. It's comically ridiculous. But it's done in this sort of Zack Snyder slow-mo, fast-mo action, that Snyder's like great at. But like this, like, I don't know if you ever saw that movie RRR. That one was awesome. And now these movies are getting bigger releases. I'm like, how are these movies like, why are they coming here?
Because ours suck.
Yeah, because ours suck. They're having fun. It looks like that's what I see every time I see a trailer of one of these films. I've not gone to see one. I need to go see one. Damn it.
Well,
I want to go see RRR, but like they just look like they're having fun, which is what we're missing these days.
It's unbelievable. It's fun. It's you see even in like because there's like so many videos of the RRR cast. Like there's videos of showing people watching the movie or the trailer going nuts. So you see there's a whole community they're building. But it's like, oh, I know you hate that word, Gary. Sorry, I'll come up with a different one. But I know
It's a commie word. Don't use those commie words.
Yeah, yeah. But no, KGF Chapter 1 is actually on Prime Video, Amazon Prime. So if you have Amazon, you can watch that. You don't have to pay for it. It's there. And KGF Chapter 2 is in theaters, and there's a new one that's opening that I might check out. But what's weird is that how is India exporting their movies here? And we're hearing more and more reports of our films made in the United States, which used to be popular overseas, are not popular overseas anymore.
Woke.
And you can say they're being banned because of like, oh, there's like a kiss or this, and they'll cut it out, but then they're not even being released.
No, because they're. I mean, like Disney's now painted themselves into a woke corner. They cannot cut things out for other. I would still argue that if China had asked them to cut out 6 seconds of Doctor Strange, they would have done it in a heartbeat. Saudi Arabia, what, $1 million? $2 million that you're going to get out of fucking Saudi Arabia in a release. Yeah, we're not talking like China, which had like Ryan talked about this. The China factor on Ragnarok was fucking huge. It's like to the tune of like $120 million. That's $120 million you're not getting now. You're not getting.
It's gone.
So pull up this article because I want. You were just talking about like inexperience. You're so spot on that one, Chris Gore. As far as the Disney Plus shows go, because they cast writers and directors, they don't hire them. So what they do is they're like, hey, person of color, come in and work on a mutual person of color project. And oh, that's great. It's a Muslim director and writer on a Muslim show. It's awesome. Oh, we don't want to hear from you. Oh, no notes. We'll tell you what to do. We just want you to be here as the director. You understand? That's exactly what's going on. That's absolutely what's going on.
So condescending. It's so condescending. And this is why that director of RRR, who was asked in an interview in Deadline, said, hey, the writer of the article is like, hey, have you ever thought about doing a Marvel movie? Has Marvel contacted you? Because you look and it really has like a superhero. It's so action filled. So like RRR, it's along with The Northman, one of my favorite movies this year. It's a list of 2 movies. But he doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to do a Marvel film because, he's just going to get sidelined. And this is the case with all this stuff. There are the people who actually the people who do the work, and they're all journeymen too. They're just journeyman. The term. This is not Google's suggesting I use a different term than journeyman.
Fuck that. I'm a journeyman parts professional. I'm proud of that.
Yeah, it's a title, man.
But in any case, all this stuff is just. I think it's just due to really inexperienced people being put in charge, and this whole like casting. You're right, Gary. They kind of cast like, well, this will look good if we get a certain type of person, because I don't know. People just need to stop caring about what people on Twitter say as much as like Twitter may be just a safer place for free speech, which I applaud wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Especially I did my MCU video, right? It was and it was for the stands, man. Great. That was for you guys.
It was great.
It was actually inspired
right there, back at the ballpark. It's for you.
The murdered franchises. Get that in your watch history. Don't leave the stream and watch that again. And Gary, you really messed me up on the 5. I didn't guess. I was guessing. You had me guessing until the end. But you got to do a sequel to it. Do a sequel.
Oh, we will. Oh,
there's plans.
We've got a couple of more planned. That's our evergreen product. We're trying some evergreen product here, so it's stuff that'll last more than a week. We'll see if that happens. You ultimately decide. It performs totally differently than any other video on my channel, so I don't know but we're very proud of it. Perry had the time of his life making.
Save it whenever people go like, hey, what is the MCU? What are you talking about? Just link. Boom.
Yeah.
Got a video.
Well,
for you.
I mean, okay, so Yellow Flash asked me to come on Flashcast, and he's like, "Could you explain the MCU to Lofty?" I'm like, "Sure." So I took some notes down. Of course, Lofty didn't fucking listen. He like tuned out like 2 minutes into the conversation. I hear him fucking typing. I'm like, "Fucking millennial." But I'm like, "Hey, this is a good idea for a video." So I wrote it down. Told the guys at Discord, and they're like, "Yeah, let's do it." So okay. But I can tell to anybody. I get the normal amount of Stan criticism, and I will drop fucking names next year. Next year, I will drop names. People from Marvel who have worked with Marvel like those videos. They're like, good job, spot on. They're saying shit like that to me. People from fucking Marvel. So I can't wait to just rub it in their face a little bit. Just a tad. But
just a little.
Just so we have one Basha K. Ali. Chrissy Meyer had made a good joke about that on Friday Night Tights, which I will not repeat here.
No.
She was the writer for Miss Marvel. Then she fucked off the Netflix. Like immediately. So what happens is they cast these people. Some people are opportunistic. I mean, honestly, she was smart. She knew she wasn't fucking talented. She knew she had shit for talent. So she shit out a couple of scripts and bailed. And just fucking bailed. And then
got the hell out of there.
Cashed in that Marvel cred for Netflix, which is now failing because she would, what does it say? Netflix Skynet up UK Screenwriters Fellowship. Helmer Basha K. Ali details plans for program. She is the head. She has no fucking experience. She's not even a comedian. She is a fucking feminist podcast host that can smirk. And somehow that makes you can head up development at Netflix. No wonder why they're failing.
Hey, I could smirk. Give me a job at Netflix. I can get in there.
Oh, this is weird. But last week, I actually had someone who formerly worked at Netflix in my chat during a live stream going off and kind of like, just talking about some inside stuff about what happens there. And I don't think that they were down with the wokeness that's seeped into the content. I mean, Elon Musk made a comment about it to, bring it back to the beginnings of our conversation. He talked about Netflix just being woke. Like what are these shows? Yeah. He's expecting all these. I mean, like it's kind of a joke at this point.
It is. I'm like I saw. By the way, thanks. Podcast of the Lotus Eaters shout us out. Sargon gave us a little shout out. I guess.
Nice.
I'm talking about Doctor Who, but he was talking about accelerism. I think that was the word. Just accelerating everything. Like fuck it, let's do it.
Let's go to the end. Let's go.
Let's just get there. We're almost there. Let's do it. Let's. He said something about James Bond being a communist lesbian immigrant in a wheelchair. I'm like, yes, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's just fucking get it over with at this point. And I think we're at that point. It's accelerating. It's accelerating to the end. I think a big factor will be we've got two of the they can make a lot of excuses for the last Marvel movies, right? Because these are new characters. We got Shang-Chi, Black Widow was in her first solo movie, the Eternals you never fucking heard of. Okay, you can excuse that, but we've got two heavy hitters coming out now. Thor, Doctor Strange. These movies should make $1 billion. They probably will. There's a very good chance they will. But I think there's a very good chance that they won't be very good. They will ride on name recognition only, and we'll see how far it goes. And the fact that you have to compete against yourself now, which is always a good philosophy, but it's not when you're that big of a business. Now Disney is directly competing against the last hit, Spider-Man, right? Now Sony is showing that they're Sony now. Like outside of Spider-Man, they're oh God.
Yeah, lucky with Spider-Man.
They did.
Yeah.
Toby and and
Yeah.
and Andrew Garfield had a great performance. Like that was lightning in a bottle.
Killed it. He killed
He
it.
killed it. They did a good. You could tell they were having fun, and it was like, but you know they're just going to take this and run with it. And I know it's
In the wrong direction.
yeah. I have a theory of what Doctor Strange is going to be, which is it's going to be Scarlet Witch's movie. Like she's going to be the through line. It's going to be about her kids. So Doctor Strange will be like a protagonist in his solo movie.
They're doing that to everybody in this phase, though. They're doing it to Captain Marvel. They're doing it to Thor. Doing it to Doctor Strange.
Yep.
They kind of did it to Spider-Man, but they saddled him with other Spider-Men, which is
fine.
a great idea.
Which is great idea. But
that's kind of their idea.
But we knew
now
this,
every movie is going to be a team-up movie.
We knew this was going to happen. Like I knew this was going to happen years ago because like you just can't do the solo movie forever. I mean, you could, but they have to up the ante, right?
They think they can.
They think they can. Right, but like I'll tell you, executives don't differentiate Shang-Chi from Endgame. They don't. They want $1 billion every time they put out a fucking movie. They want $1 billion. That's the new goal. $1 billion. Got to make $1 billion. If you don't make $1 billion, it's a disappointment. If it's a Marvel movie that doesn't make $1 billion, it's a disappointment. I promise you that. They'll spin it whatever fucking way they want. But that's what they expect from Marvel, especially the only thing that's really doing well in the theaters, outside of Batman. What did the other franchise, I guess, that does good? The Fast franchise just lost its director.
Yeah. Brie Larson got him kicked right out. He was like, nope, I ain't directing Brie Larson.
Yep. Smart move. So
I can't believe she's in that movie. Ugh.
Basha K. Ali gets this sweet gig at Marvel and leaves immediately. And it's because I can promise you it's because she wasn't good. She wrote a shitty script and she left. And yeah, she's opportunist. That's what it's filled with. It's opportunism. So there's people taking advantage of this all day long. We got Dylan Statler.
That's not Stelter.
It's not Stelter.
Please.
No, it's Statler for $100. Sorry, Dylan. This is a first-time super chat. First super chat ever. Been watching everyone in the FNT crew the past few years now. Love you all so much. Thank you. Keep up the awesome work. Just created a Twitter account yesterday after this Elon purchase. May the wings of liberty never lose a feather. Hail!
Hail.
Well, maybe it is people going there.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Power's still on. I'm very happy about
good.
that.
Nice.
Keep the power on.
Keep that power on. So, with we got an article on Netflix that's pretty interesting that we want to go over because it's blood in the water, and you see what fucking sharks Hollywood are. They're terrible, terrible people.
Mean.
So the gist of this article is, yeah, we know Netflix is failing and it's affecting all of us, but good.
But good. There was a line in here where they said, we started to think maybe we shouldn't kill the film industry so fast. They were talking about the theater industry.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, ooh, wait, we should probably not do that because streaming maybe is not
a thing.
End all be all of entertainment.
Yeah. It's not. I mean, it's here to stay for sure, but it's not like the cash cow that everybody thinks it is because, well, for one, once something hits the internet, it's free to a lot of people, and it's very hard to monetize this stuff without ads, without people coming in and paying for it, which YouTube is light years ahead of everybody in that one. Everybody. That's why, like, when YouTube was trying to be Netflix, that shows you how dumb Susan Wojcicki was. She is just fucking moron. Just be YouTube. Like, you have free and you have quote unquote talent. I'll just put it in air quotes. Talent, who comes here every day, and you don't have to. You just give them a little piece of the ad money, and a lot of them you don't give them shit. You don't give them jack shit, and they're supporting
Other
your
people do it for free.
Yeah. So, like, you're light years ahead of these guys who have to like pump billions into content. And you just go, "Oh, come on over, guys," and then like and then you suppress a bunch of them, which fucking sucks. Which would make you more money, but Susan Wojcicki's fucking moron. Netflix's big wake-up call, the power clash behind the crash. As rivals toggle between schadenfreude and fear. I'm toggling between schadenfreude
We get
and
schadenfreude.
laughter. Yes. Top creators and insiders are increasingly becoming vocal about what's gone wrong with the streaming giants culture. I mean, we all know it's get woke, go broke, but let's hear the fucking paragraphs of mental gym. I'm sure there's some probably legit reasons too, but I bet you they don't mention not a single bit the forced diversity and all of that garbage. Cuties, which they in an earlier article admitted it hurt them. It absolutely hurt them. Of course, it hurt them. Just like this fucking grooming shit's hurting Disney right now. Bad.
Yep.
Before we get to the deep dive on the internal drama at Netflix, the internecine battles.
Internecine?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a big word. I don't know. Among top leadership that more than one source calls the Hunger Games. Let's pause to let the town enjoy the moment. The thing about Schadenfreude is that the Freude part, the joy, is usually savored when the Schaden, the bad thing, happens to someone else. In this case, Netflix ongoing debacle, however, the streamer's competitors acknowledge that they are damaged themselves by the sudden discovery that maybe the sky is not the limit when it comes to streaming, but they are relishing in the bad news anyway.
Let's go.
Oh.
Wow. Wow.
We'll all go together when we go. Yes, says a top executive at one of Netflix legacy studio rivals. The news has dinged valuations and been bad for his business, but it fucking feels good. That's a quote.
These people.
That is a quote.
It fucking feels good. Man, while they sink into the abyss. Fuck you.
Chris,
we're in the same boat. But I like it anyways.
Chris, Mr. Hollywood man, explain this logically to me.
I don't know. It's a certain mindset. Look, I've been peripherally in like Hollywood, right? Like I've known a lot of people as they've kind of like gone up, usually transitioning from an indie career to a Hollywood career, where then they have to learn to play politics and be diplomatic. So I've observed that. I've also like done television. I did like my first big TV thing was at FX. I'd done some little things like on E and whatnot, but like nothing anyone would have heard of. So, I sort of had like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. When it comes to whatever my entertainment career, I consider myself kind of like Boba Fett in the sense that like, I'll work for you. I'll work for you. But I prefer indie film because indie film is, you've got people sort of at least at the beginnings of their careers trying to build something. And it's also a much more pure vision. But people at that level don't celebrate people doing poorly. It's just that I think there's so many, I hate to say it bluntly, there's so many assholes in this industry that when people fail who deserve it, you're kind of like good, people who are complete. I mean, I could tell stories of people who are just complete and even the Weinstein stuff, I'd heard rumors about him in the 90s, but it was only rumors, because he was always at Sundance.
That's the open secret.
Yeah, it's that. But it was just like something I heard. It's just like, oh, well, that's weird. I don't have any direct knowledge or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I think Netflix is Netflix was the early leader in that game, right?
Yes.
Kind of set a lot of the rules with like, hey, you drop your series all on one day. Here's how you can. They're great at marketing. And by the way, the reason they've done so well in the Oscars is they basically hired the woman who ran all of Harvey Weinstein's Oscar campaigns. Netflix hired that person. So she runs all that. That's why their movies are, I'm not saying they don't deserve it. I'm saying that I hired someone who knows how to make those campaigns work. So what's weird is Netflix's future, right? They don't have any of the Disney stuff, the Marvel stuff. They're trying to make their own blockbusters. I don't know how well that, is anybody talking about the Adam Project? They did for a couple days.
Red Notice.
Yep.
No, like these things were like, we're making blockbusters, but they bought a movie theater in the heart of Hollywood. They bought the Egyptian, and now they're doing reconstruction on it. I have no idea. But, when they say like day and date, the day and date theaters and VOD is a model that doesn't work for bigger movies. It might work for video on demand. Like it works for independents because a movie opens in New York and LA only. Well, if I don't live in either of those cities, I can't see that movie. But if I can also see it on demand, and the reason to open it in those cities is that's because, at least from the perception of, publicists, that's where the big critics are. So that's how you get your Rotten Tomatoes reviews and all that. So you open a small indie movie in a couple theaters in New York and LA, you open it on video on demand on the same day, and it does well. Those are small movies. These are movies made for like under $1 million, right?
Yep.
But that model doesn't work for Hollywood. At least what Netflix aspires to be, it doesn't work. That doesn't work at all. So when they say like, Power of the Dogs in theaters, it's like, no, it's on Netflix. Why would I go to a theater to see it? What's the point? I just think that there's going to be some consolidation when it comes to the streaming services. I don't see any of these companies going out of business because even something like a Paramount has library, right? They've got so much in their library but you're going to see some consolidation and some mergers. And I think it's also like where the economy is at. Freaking, what are we at? 9% inflation, and we're at shrinkflation. God, I went out to dinner last night. I'm like, this was the burger that I loved at this place. It's weird. It used to be a $9 burger, is now a $16 burger.
And it's probably not as good as it was because
100% not as good. Portions shrinking. This is just sort of my anecdotal like observation of like, hey, I go out to dinner a couple times a week. I'm noticing the prices are higher, the portions are smaller. I call bullshit. But there's going to be some, because people are looking at like, look, if I cancel my $4.99 streaming service, that's $60 a year, right? That's I really think this has to do with inflation and people saying, look, I don't need every streaming service.
You don't. These are luxury items. That's what I was painfully aware of at the comic store. Every fucking day was a recession. I'm like, I'm the first to go. I am the first to go. I will be the first thing cut off. So,
you hardly hear Hollywood being honest with itself. I think the closest thing with that is the Ankler does stuff, but I always see the stuff in trades as bullshit. It's announcements of stuff that may or may not happen. It's information that's going to change. It's, press releases repurposed as news. It's bullshit. And then occasionally there'll be some type of journalism and reporting. It's rare, but it happens. And people will speak off the cuff. But and I feel like it's the same way in government. There's like what we see people say, and then there's what they say behind the scenes, which is a completely different story than what we're seeing. There's the narrative.
Yeah, I think that era is coming to an end. I think that era brought us Trump. It did.
That's what's so great about, at least the good part of social media and a free internet is it blows away the narrative. The narrative can't last because you can point out facts. And this is where it's so satisfying to see what's happening with Twitter right now and see someone like a Sarah Gonzalez go off and just scream. Like, I felt like she was like screaming, kind of like that scene in Network.
Yes.
Like,
I'm not going to take it anymore.
It's Sarah Gonzalez going off and just stating very basic truths. and the Babylon Bee, the Babylon Bee was the tipping point to me. Like that was like, how could the Babylon be making a joke? And I think that's also kind of, if Elon Musk ever does an interview and talks about it, Elon Musk did a great interview on the Babylon Bee YouTube channel, which I recommend checking out after this stream. But I think that he was a big fan of the Babylon Bee. And when that happened to them, that kind of got his notice, like, hey, a place where free speech can be exercised and just objective facts that can be respected by everyone. That's important because, Elon Musk, if anything, is a science. He's a guy that understands science. You're not, no one gives when I love hearing about how he kind of runs his organization. Gary, you have more insight than I do. You work for the man, but like, I love like reading about like how this guy does not suffer fools.
No,
right?
No, people get, no, they don't. He does not. I think the guy has like a mild Asperger's, but I think it works well for him. I think it does, because it does cut through that fucking bullshit. It's just very matter of fact. Let's cut through the minutia, which there's so much minutia and waste, and he doesn't believe in that. He definitely tries things that cost him money, and I experienced that. But at least it's trying. I'm trying something different. This could cost me a lot of money, and sometimes it did. Sometimes
that's how we get into space.
Yep,
people tried
a different part.
You have to try the hard thing.
Turns out that part wasn't galvanized right. We had to ditch all of them, which was, but that's just the way it goes. But I did want to ask you, you worked for E for a little while. Okay. Did you ever go to the E Christmas party? I
did. I went to some of those.
I went to a couple of those. So
you went to a couple of those? Okay. Yeah. So I went to like G4 had one, then they'd have this one that they would do in the courtyard where it was like all the channels. So like the Style Channel and E and G4, what was so funny about it was G4 was all like people wearing like, Batman and Marvel shirts and Star Wars stuff. And like, you definitely saw there was a clear delineation between like, you worked for G4, you're a freaking nerd. And then you worked for E, and it was mostly women and gay men. I'm just going to flat out say it.
Yep.
Or let's say very stylish men.
Of course.
Very, very fashion conscious men. And then the sort of frumpy, dumpy, which I fit in very well, with all the nerds from G4 talking about comic books and video games and movies and whatnot. Like that was, and tech, whatever.
Yeah.
So it was just funny when like you'd see them mix, because it was like an incredibly awkward. It was just really awkward. So that was fun. That was fun to see. Yeah, it was. Yeah. I talked to the staff. I didn't. And I was like, I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing here. So I ended up talking to the bartender, and we just chilling out. My almost Me Too moment, though, I can't remember her name because I got the one who was on E News forever, the chick who was on E News forever. So Joel, the talk soup guy, is like paying people to slap her on the ass. Oh my God! Like as a joke,
right? She's like got her ass out, and I'm like,
hey,
no,
it's a party.
I'm not gonna slap her on the ass. I was like the one guy who wouldn't slap her on the ass. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna. For a while, I was married. I'm married. I'm not gonna slap another woman on the ass. But he's like, come on, do it. I'm like, no, no. That was my one eventful thing at the E fucking part.
And then right when you do it, they take a picture of it and they're like, blackmail, gotcha. Now you do whatever we want.
Guy crashes, ex-felon crashes E party, slaps news anchor on the ass.
You're like, E party, ecstasy, oh my God.
Yeah.
The thing that stands out is like how much everyone who worked at E and the E channel, the Style Channel, they all looked down on G4. Like it was like a source of shame.
It was
that like G4 even had to be in the same building. And remember the Kardashians would come in.
Yeah,
dude. First of all, I've never liked them. I think they're.
Have you seen any of their raw footage?
Trash.
Have you seen any of the raw footage? If that ever gets out, oh my God.
Well, there's tons of it.
There's tons.
Would get them canceled.
Yep.
But also, who cares?
Yeah.
But you'd see them come in and just like, ugh, like, and here's where the G4 people are.
I know. And now, how does Hollywood feel that that's all they have to cater to now is fucking superhero movies?
Right. But it's funny because
they
Gary,
fuck 'em up.
like you've seen like Comic-Con change. The year I really thought Comic-Con change was around 2007.
Twilight.
I think it was like, this is getting too big. It was Twilight. And then also, this is a weird thing to bring up. So I was doing stuff for G4. We're doing coverage of San Diego Comic-Con, and Paris Hilton had come to town and was paying the hotel was offering to pay people money to kick them out of the rooms and put them up at a different hotel. So Paris Hilton and her entire entourage could actually stay at the hotel at the Hard Rock. And I remember thinking like, oh fuck, this is too big now. This is like when Sundance used to be this small, cool thing, like up and coming indie filmmakers. And then as soon as it was cool, then it's like infiltrated by freaking normies that are just there for the scene, but not because they actually care about indie film.
Yep.
And the same thing with Comic-Con. It's like
And
they're
South
not
by
there
Southwest.
they're not there for comic books. They're not there for like they're there because well, it's the cool thing to go because everybody
Bazinga, guys. Right?
Yeah,
That's what
Bazinga.
nerds say, Bazinga.
Bazinga? No, they don't say that. It's all right.
Oh my god.
We're all nerds.
Big Bang Theory and
We're all
Funko Pops.
nerds. Yeah.
Fuck that.
Fuck them both. Yeah.
Yeah, like that. But whatever. I mean, it's
Elon was on Big Bang Theory too. I'll forgive him for that.
yeah,
He was also in Iron Man 2.
Yes, he was.
So
that's true.
come back a little bit.
No,
Wait.
that's what you're right, Chris. That's when it all started going down. That's for one. That was the year the fire marshal hit both WonderCon and Comic-Con in two different cities at the same time, going, "We are now capping this thing. We are now capping this thing." And I remember I walked out of WonderCon in San Francisco to go get something out of my car, and they wouldn't let me back in. My kid was at my fucking booth with one of my friends watching them, right? And I'm like, "What do you mean I can't come back in?" They're like, "We're at capacity." I'm like, I'm fucking retailer. I need to go back in. They're all, "Nope, nope." They were
Like,
"We
we'll
have
get
reached
one of these
capacity."
people out because I
Now-
got to get back in.
They fixed that problem later because I had a couple little words with the Comic-Con staff after that. I'm like, "I'm a motherfucking real here. I pay you motherfucking money. I left my fucking kid. You fucking do that fucking shit again." They fixed it. But yeah, it was bullshit. And that's what and all of a sudden comps started going out to all the Hollywood people, right? So there were fewer tickets sold for Comic-Con. That's why they're impossible to get. And that's why it was weird when we did that makeup thing. Like that was like Comic-Con in like 90, 89.
Yeah, it was weird. It felt like a ghost town. It was weird. And then even like the gas lamp was kind of dead, like that. But that also, by the way, I know some people on the staff there, they told me that like there were a ton of bootleg badges. And as soon as they did this new system where you tap in and tap out, and they would collect that data, basically just they want to be able to, they want to be able to track bootleg badges. There were like 20,000 fewer people at Comic-Con because of badges. So many badges were and they'd have like undercover cops that would bust people selling badges outside the convention center. You could tell because it was always like beefy FBI looking guys with like a Target Star Wars shirt. Like,
It still got greases in it. Like fake glasses
like
on.
Ryan Kinnell and Ricada outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Hilarious.
No, it's so yeah, it's going to be really interesting. This year is going to be really interesting. But
I don't think it'll be back 100%. I don't think it's going to be back. It's not going to be as bad as like November because that was just terrible timing. But I think it's going to be. It's definitely going to be reduced. The Hotel Apocalypse actually is tomorrow. If that means anything to anybody trying to get a hotel,
which I mean, like. Well, should I even say I'm not going to say my secret out loud. There's a secret that you could just so easy.
Oh, can you tell me after, Gary, please?
I'll absolutely.
Yeah, I would like to know.
It just takes a little extra driving or getting on a train, and you save thousands of dollars.
Yeah,
thousands of dollars. No, you're not. You know what? You can stay down in it. The trains run all fucking night. Like you can stay down in that. You just won't be. Just take a little nap. It's like 10 miles. 10 miles will save you
sleep in a hallway,
thousands of dollars.
Wow.
Yeah. And if you're like, if you really don't give a fuck where you stay, you go south. You go 10 miles south. Now, usually you don't. Like closer to the San Diego, closer to the border, bad. That's
Your
fact
donkey
of
shows
life.
the closer you go.
Yeah.
It's like a gradient.
Real estate
of
values
donkey
go
show.
down closer you get to a donkey show. And honestly, there's much worse things than donkey shows in Tijuana now. There's death and decapitations. So you don't want to go visit down there. I wouldn't.
Not a fun time.
No. I used to feel totally safe there as a 16-year-old running around drunk. Not like that anymore.
The times we live in where a 16-year-old can't run around Tijuana drunk.
Going to titty bars.
Terrible. Terrible.
It's terrible. It's awful. It's awful. Oh, I wasn't even ready for this. Hang on. I'm going to get to some of your questions. I just didn't have my page turned up. Hey, the power hasn't gone off. That's a good thing. That is a good thing. Chris will be here every Wednesday, by the way. And we'll be doing, like, you're going to Star Wars Celebration, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I first of all, I can't get a refund. They're offering no refunds.
Yep.
So
Bastards.
I bought these tickets before The Rise of Skywalker came out. I bought these tickets.
Oh God.
Summer
It's been
2019.
that long?
I bought the
Jesus.
And it was the convention was supposed to be May 2020.
Yeah.
They pushed it back like 3 different times. So I'm just like, you know what? I got these tickets and I don't want to like bitch like on social media about getting a refund.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I don't want special treatment. I'm just going to go. I'm going to be tailgating in the parking lot. Anna, that Star Wars girl, she said she'd go too. So we're gonna be tailgating in the parking lot. So we're not paying $14 for cocktails at the hotel bar. We'll probably sneak in some roadies, and then we're just gonna. I just like to hang at the hotel bar because I see people that I only see at Celebration. People from the 501st, which is a great organization that does a lot of charity work.
Yeah.
I saw them in the Rose Parade when George Lucas was the Grand Marshal at the Rose Parade in Pasadena, and they had like all these like marching stormtroopers. It was awesome. So
yeah, but are they going to be stormtroopers or duck troopers from the Disney trilogy now?
Who knows? Who knows?
Well, the 501st is proper stormtroopers, right? So at least they're like proper stormtroopers. But
I love those guys. That organization is great, and I'm just really there to hang out. I don't care about any of the panels, and I don't care about any of the merch. I want to see if I can get a shirt that says "The Force is male."
Yeah.
I wonder, do they sell that?
Just make one.
Should I just make one? The Force is male.
The Force has a dick.
Hand him out at the.
Oh my God. That was the dumbest thing that they could. The Force is
so
dude. Why would you buy a boys franchise and do that?
Very definition of she-tarded. Okay,
dude. Shoot yourself in the foot.
Jeez.
I just think, I don't know. I've never gotten a clear answer to this, but who would even think to say, look, let's take one of the most popular franchises that young boys and men love, Star Wars, and let's completely feminize it. Why would you?
And women love it too.
Well, no, women love it too. I'm not saying that
yeah.
there's not an audience of women who love Star Wars. They're
I almost say that's like even more of a reason to keep it how it is.
It's
is
the
because
whole,
women already liked it.
Well, no, it's the entire logic. I mean, I even brought that up in my MCU video. It's like, okay, if 50% of women are potentially interested in which they're not, by the way. I hope people caught on that. They're fucking not. That's not true. Then why change it? You got half of the population interested in it already. There's nothing you need to do. You just need to make it more available and tell better stories. Instead, they took that very false data because a comic book fan is somebody who goes and buys comic books on the regular. And women just don't do that on high percentages. I wish I could tell you different, but they don't. Highest 15%. That would be the max highest. And I'm talking a comic book. I'm not talking about Dog Boy or manga because
Saga.
Women love the manga. They do. I especially young women love to read it and then leave it at the bookstore all over the floor. That's what we used to see at Borders all the time, and that's why Borders went out of business. So it's very popular. It's very popular, and certain graphic novels are very popular amongst women. But the superhero floppy comic book, no. I tried. I definitely tried, and a lot of people tried.
Yeah, but like, is there ever been a case where they've taken a franchise popular with women, say Barbie, and tried to make men a fan of it? I mean, I just don't see that going the other way.
Put a military jacket on there and some guns.
Although it's the weirdest
military Barbie.
It's the weirdest thing with like when you see
Barbie wire. Sorry.
Yeah, I guess. Well, barbed wire.
There's still barbed wire, but yeah, Barbie wire.
But it's weird. How are they just looking for different markets? Like I see more and more. I see more and more young men. I'm talking about in their 20s or whatever, wearing nail polish. Oh. Is that because the nail polish industry is like, well, the way to double our market is just to make it cool for men to wear nail polish?
Okay, like in the 80s, like black nail polish on that was punk rock and goth. That's fine.
It's not just black though.
But now it's like
it's not
rainbow.
Yeah,
popular for a different.
No,
I don't know.
Why? No. Okay.
Like James Charles kind of.
When I was at Technicolor and we were like really pushing towards the set top box because that was the streaming of its time, right? So all of the post production houses were Sony. Everybody was Sony did the PS3, so that's what like set top box. We got to get those set top box going. So Technicolor was spent millions developing its own. I think it came out. I don't know anybody who bought it. I can't even remember the name of it, but I went to a bunch of seminars and worked on a bunch of stuff for it. But I digress. That was at the time they said we're losing the male audience to video games. So that's what they I think they are giving up on the male audience. That's pretty much what it was. So right around the time Disney bought Marvel and Star Wars to increase their male audience, they all of a sudden got some marketing research that says, nope, boys are just playing games. They don't care about this stuff. And there is some truth to that. Like Amazon's Lord of the Rings. I don't think you're going to get a lot of 13, 14-year-old boys going to check that out. Not based on your trailer.
Not on the trailer.
Yeah. And you know what? You need them. You fucking need them. They are the ones. That's the generation that you will capture. A boy, well, they used to watch, stuff differently. Okay, they would want to buy the toys, experience it, be part of it, and it's because we're different. Sorry, that's just fact.
I felt that way coming out of Northman. Yeah. I came out of Northman as an adult, but I was like, I want to get a spear and go in the woods and start howling at the moon. And like then,
and then have my son throw it at me so I can catch it.
Yeah. There's just something about boys that makes you want to do that.
Yes.
Kind of stuff.
Yeah. I did. Yeah.
You watch Star Wars, you start hitting people with lightsabers or sticks.
Yeah. Start barking with my boy and eating like a dog out of a bowl. Most definitely wanted to do that. Yes.
Farting for
sure. With like a shaman.
Farting.
With the shaman like cheering us on. Yeah. Calling us dogs. Yeah.
It's just I
took my son to the baseball game.
I'd be really
just yelling out into the open.
But I'm really curious to see data, right? Like a lot of, and just having worked for a tech company briefly, it's one of the things I learned is that many decisions are just data driven, right? I think when they're smart decisions, mostly data driven. But in entertainment, is there someone who did a talk or a presentation or some marketing deck that's like, okay, the data shows that buying power in the household is now more female driven.
Yes.
So more women are getting college degrees. That's a fact.
Yep.
More women have the high paying jobs. So they're making the decisions about paying for entertainment. So did that initiate the shift in having more female led action franchises or changing the MCU into the MCU? Because it's like, well, and also I think that may be a flawed logic, because you're assuming that women want to see women when, like, no, I think they kind of want to see Chris Evans shirtless is what they probably want to see. They want to see manly men for the most part. So I think that it's based on a false assumption that women want to see women. It's like, no, they probably want to see females in roles that aren't typical, right? I don't think that Princess Leia was a pushover, which is in 1977 when the first woman was ever in a movie that was a strong female lead. Never happened even before that.
Karen Allen after that, among
others. She could drink Indy to shame, but like, Yeah, like there has to be some data. I'd be really curious.
I think there is.
You think so?
There.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because they talked about it in like I'm in a little stadium. The Technicolor, the building on Hollywood Way had this like little amphitheater, right? Well, it wasn't little. It was fucking huge. Thousands of people could fit in it. And they were talking about somewhat that. But I think they were conflating that, right, with what would come later with the Me Too Time's Up. So they just took information. Like you can take information and spin it whatever fucking way you want, and that's what led them to make a very impulsive. These people make impulsive decisions. I was just talking to these guys earlier. These are people, human beings of average intelligence with immense power, in control of a lot of money, who got there because they're generally the best backstabber. That's pretty much Hollywood. So
it fucking feels good. It is a quote from an actual
quote
executive
from this article that we will eventually get back to. Yeah, it's a miracle we get good movies with people like this, but they're very impulsive, and we're now watching stuff. Chris just mentioned this. Fucking Rise of Skywalker came out in 2019. 19.
That was like forever ago.
And we're still going off of that. We're still seeing stuff that was written, put into pre-production, and largely, in some cases, filmed to even 1 year ago. We're in a different world. We're in an entire different world. Yeah. And it's not going to play. It's not playing well. It's already not playing well. So let me get back to this because this is so good. Yes. I'll start again. Yes, says the top executive of one Netflix legacy studio rivals. The news has dinged valuations and been bad for his business, but it sure fucking feels good. This executive rattles off a brief history of Netflix in Hollywood, including the A word, which is the entire town's rooting against them. He said, it's not just the arrogance of announcing that you're the leaders, not respecting executive contracts and poaching everybody and the way they carry themselves. There was a feeling of anger and then despair. Are our businesses over? In a lot of ways, yes, they are.
Pretty salty.
They are. And yeah, Netflix did exactly what every fucking studio did. They just didn't like it. They just didn't like it.
They didn't like it when it came outside of Hollywood.
Netflix did one incredibly stupid thing that they still do to this day, and it's the binge model. The binge model is unsustainable, especially when you're losing fucking money. They need to end that tomorrow. Yeah. It is just fucking dumb. And they're going to have to monetize, and people are not going to go for it. They're just not.
They're already talking about adding commercials, having a low tier where you can have commercials on it.
What about when they get to the point where they add commercials when you're paying higher to stay away from commercials, like Hulu fucking does?
Right. I hate that.
Yeah, that's shit that pisses me off. That's like, fuck you. No, not going to put up with that.
Yeah, I don't have Hulu. Yeah. No thanks.
Yeah.
Disney.
Yeah, basically.
Disney is the largest shareholder, I believe, of Hulu.
Yeah, dude, I do everything that I can a la carte now, and it saves me a ton of money. I'll just, whatever series I want to see, I'll find a way to see it a la carte, and there usually is, and there's usually a solution for that. Or somebody shares a password, which they're going to try to crack down on, which I wish them all the luck in the world.
I don't know how the hell they're going to do that.
Although I recently discovered that when it comes to Netflix, you can't have more, because my mom and my daughter have my Netflix that we share, right? The family, you kind of create your profile, whatever. You can't have more than two streams going at once. I never knew that until recently.
Yeah, there's certain levels to tiers that you can pay for more streaming at the same time. But that's the only way I can see that they could limit that stuff, unless it's some kind of IP connected process that you can't share between different IPs and different locations. And I don't know. That seems kind of intrusive to my location. I don't like that.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
Yeah. I also don't care. I mean, I get Netflix free from my cell provider, so it's like it's not like I'm paying for it. It's like one of those things where it's like a thing where they get you to sign up. It's like, hey, you get this, Netflix comes free. It's like, all right, cool.
Yeah, right, whatever.
But when Netflix and Disney Plus come up for renewal, I'm not going to pay for it.
It's not worth it at this point. Back in the day, it was worth it because nothing was like it. You didn't have commercials. You could watch any movie you wanted to at any time. You could watch Seinfeld all the way through. You could watch Friends if you like that. You could watch all these shows, and now they're slowly going away. And the products that we're getting from Netflix are trash. They spent all this money on crap shows, and every once in a while we get a good show like Squid Game or Stranger Things season 1.
Yeah, season 1.
But then we'll get Stranger Things season 3.
Lots of good season
and
ones.
crap like that.
We get a lot of good season ones. Don't get a lot of good season 2s.
You're right.
But yeah, everything coming out now just sucks. And like you said earlier, Chris, is you don't even want to get into the show after the first episode. It used to be the first episode was interesting, something like WandaVision. We were all interested in seeing where WandaVision went.
I was hooked.
The first 3 episodes. We were like, oh, this is intriguing. What's going on? And then it fell off. And then the same thing happened with every single show after that, and including Netflix shows. But now it's different. The first episode is also trash. They're not like Halo. They're not even trying with the first episode. It's crazy.
Well, the Marvel stuff just seems inconsequential to me. It just doesn't matter. Like, and Gary, you know about this.
Right.
Remember how they would do like the prequel comic to a movie?
Yeah.
And it was sort of like, I mean, look, it's just to promote the movie, but it'd be like, here are the things that happened that don't matter before the movie began. The story in the movie
did
began.
that with Iron Man. Yeah.
They're nothing.
Yeah.
They're meaningless. And that's what I kind of feel like the Disney Plus series are. They have no impact on what happens in the movie.
That's exactly what they are, and that's what they were meant to be. But now they have to be consequential now. But like, dude, they're coming out like I should like She-Hulk for one should have been the first female hero probably a long time ago. Probably one of the better heroes. Not the way she's written now, but the way she was written before by John Byrne. Absolutely. But like Echo, who in the fuck is gonna watch a fucking Echo show? Who?
Nobody.
Nobody's going to watch this fucking show unless they put like Daredevil, Bullseye, fucking Kingpin, Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, John Lennon, whoever the fuck you can think of to put in this fucking show. You better put in it. Because like nobody's going to watch a deaf girl with one leg fighting crime. It's not interesting. There's a way you could make it interesting, but I don't want to get in. You also have to have pleasant-looking people on the screen. Okay, that's part of like why I watch.
Echo doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, no. I mean, like you don't want me playing Superman. Okay, you wouldn't want me playing Superman. I'm just saying they drew Echo in the comic books like Gina Gershon, which okay, now you're talking. But like in her prime back in the day, I don't know what she looks like now. I'm sure she's a beautiful lady. But yeah, that's just Echo. Echo feels like an ESG show, like a show to raise their ESG credit. That's it. That's all it exists for. And Miss Marvel, quite frankly, which is coming out soon, right?
That looks like
oh shit! Show. Yeah, it comes.
Yeah,
out.
No, it's end of May. I think it's the same. Is it the same week that Obi-Wan or the Kenobi comes out?
Yeah,
and Kenobi they changed it from a Wednesday premiere
June
to a
8th.
Friday
June
showing 8th. 2 episodes. Yeah. So this is the first time a Marvel and a Star Wars show will be happening at the same time.
At the same time, and they did it over Miss Marvel because they're trying to bury it because they're fucking like dicks.
They know it's a doo-doo. They don't want to. They know it's people to see
doo-doo. They know it's shit.
Like a shameful dog.
It's shit. It's gonna be shit. It's gonna be shit. Confirmed. While Netflix's competitors still have no room to grow, and Disney in particular has committed to growing a lot. Yeah, they told their investors 200 million subscribers by within a year. Agents and creators believe they are seeing the end of the spending spree that was ridiculous like I could not believe they were giving these people these first look contracts for fucking $300 million. I mean, take it if you can get it. for sure. A spending spree that has lined many pockets in recent years. Asked if the content bubble has burst, Grace and Frankie creator Marta Kaufman, a unicorn who got into the Guinness Book of World Records 94 episodes of scripted show on Netflix, says yes. I interviewed her for an upcoming episode on my KCRW show, The Business. A top executive at the legacy company that poured resources into streaming suggests that they may be so. We'd all be insane not to give the spend a hard look, he says, adding, agents are flipping out more than anybody. They're taking it hard. Yeah, party's over. And Chris just mentioned it. Inflation. This is a luxury item that people will not have the luxury to bother with anymore. Like no, I got to pay my trash bill or whatever. I've
got to buy meat.
Yeah, that's twice as much.
Family.
Yeah.
Jeez, the price of meat is insane. I've been trying to do my diet, do meal preps. Freaking the price of meat is ridiculous.
They have the.
Sorry,
I don't know if you
can.
There. No, it's okay. I don't know if you can. I mean, it might be kind of expensive, but there is like a keto meal plan that you can get. You can order, and they bring you meals once a week.
I want to do that.
Get them as a sponsor.
That'd be awesome.
I'll sign up.
I keep. You know what? People ask all the time. I'm just like, nah. I probably should pick up one.
I got my first legit one. As a YouTuber, you get all these fake ones that are like, we are company, we love creator to support creator.
We for you here to create for sir
things. But I actually got an actual company that has cool products. So I might do it, maybe. They look like some dope stuff.
I'm trying out some stuff right now for a possible one.
Hey.
That's applicable to my life. And maybe to you.
That's important there.
Yeah.
It's stuff that you use, stuff that you get usefulness out of that you can pass on to the audience. That's what's important.
That's usually Mrs. Nerdrotic's job, but right now she's doing family stuff for a wedding. It's really inconvenient for me.
Family stuff. What the hell?
Really inconvenient for me. She's with her family, her giant. Yeah, for white people, it's a big family, man. It's got 90 cousins and 17 uncles. Yeah. And it's Wisconsin.
Wow.
It's Wisconsin. So still, whether Netflix's rough ride is truly a measure of the limits on subscriber growth is not clear. Whatever Wall Street thinks, fuck Wall Street. At a time of war in Europe and rising inflation. Oh, I almost forgot. There's a war going on.
There's a war in Europe.
Yeah. I thought it was World War III.
That's what I keep hearing.
Okay. It may be a little soon to write an obituary. Netflix has gotten itself out of tight spots before. Yeah, this one's different, though. This one's different.
You could say.
Yeah, because
a little different.
When they got themselves out of tight spots, Chris, they had content. They had The Office and fucking Friends and all kinds of shit and Star Trek and Marvel movies. And now they got a shitty fucking Witcher show. They got a shitty Stranger Things show. They have House of Cards is done, right?
Yep.
Orange is the New Black is done.
It's been killed.
So what do they got?
Get the Karate Kid show.
They got Squid Game.
Diminishing returns with them.
Yeah.
Squid Game season 2. Yeah. I don't think there should be one. I don't think so either. That's like a Joker. Right there. That's like Joker too. It's no, don't do it. Don't do it. The sources say Holland was the one who nurtured strong relationships with talent. Who's fucking Holland? Did I miss a name of Holland?
It's one of the
Tom Holland?
One of the executives.
One of the executives.
Cindy Holland.
Sydney Holland. Okay. All right. So the sources say Holland was one who nurtured strong relationships with talent and took time to offer thoughtful development notes while still making people feel safe. And supported in pursuing their passion projects. Guess what? Life isn't safe. Business isn't safe. This is show business, not show safe. Important. What the fuck?
Multi-hyphenates. I
Multi-hyphenate.
got stuck on that too when I read
God.
the exact same word.
I'm like, I see more than that just fries my brain.
Important
things. I'm just gonna say important things who work or have worked with Netflix. Say it was Holland rather than Ted Sarandos, then chief content officer this is also smelling like a little bit of retaliation over possibly a certain comedy thing that happened recently, who gave Netflix its profile as a home to busy quality shows. It was also Holland who warned Sarandos to no avail that continuing to order specials from his comedy heroes, Dave Chappelle.
They're trying to blame it on Dave Chappelle.
I fucking knew it would lead to internal strife and bad press. This is bullshit.
So instead of bringing up cuties, which is a massive, massive backlash, you bring up Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
That the majority of audiences love.
Why are they doing this so in LA they're doing this big Netflix is a joke like comedy where they're like doing like over the course of 2 weeks, it's like a comedy festival. They're doing stuff at the Hollywood Bowl, other venues, and they're having a bunch of comedians who've had specials and or will have specials perform live, and they're filming a lot of them. Dave Chappelle's at the Bowl, thinking of getting tickets.
Yeah, dude. Ooh.
You can get the
I
Bowl.
go see it live, man.
The Bowl,
I just don't know if you can bring your own booze for that one. But they have different rules.
When is it? Shoot me the date in the private section.
I saw 9 Inch Nails there, and they had like a really strict policy
of what
back in the day. At you know how the Bowl like you can bring in like
I saw Unga Bunga there,
but they change it up depending on.
I brought drugs. I mean, that was back in the day. Back in the day, yeah. I didn't need no booze.
So, you can still get tickets, like not great tickets, but I kind of have a secret where you can just like. There's a part you can go to the left of the stage and just kind of hang out and watch it.
I mean, I'll help you smuggle in whatever paraphernalia you need to bring in for you, buddy. I mean, I won't partake, but I'd go. I'd go.
Yeah. So I'm thinking of getting tickets and just go into it. But so they still have this continuing relationship, and I feel like doing this comedy festival is kind of doubling down on it.
Yeah,
so
this makes them money. Dave Chappelle brings them subscribers. This guy's full of fucking shit. Cuties cost them subscribers. Dave Chappelle cost them nothing. Exactly. It's bad press. So they're this is Hollywood. This is how they try to stay empowered in the spin. This is factually incorrect. This is just a fucking lie. I could give you a list of names of people who would lie down on railroad tracks for her.
For this powerful woman.
Cindy Holland. Cindy Holland's taste. Who would sit on railroad tracks for her. Ted is a fan of content, not a picker. He's a cheerleader and a good cheerleader to a degree. Well, that's what most CEOs are. You need your talent person there. But Cindy Holland, did she pick cuties? Did she pick Lauren Hisrich to be the showrunner for fucking The Witcher? I mean, like, she's a fucking moron then. She's an idiot. I'll just say that right now. She's a fucking stone cold idiot. According to former insider, Netflix knew years ago that it would have to increase the volume of original shows, substantially year over year to compete. The service could foresee the time where popular shows on the service like Friends or The Office would be reclaimed by the studios. Of course, as Netflix ratcheted up its originals, it seemed like it was an unstoppable force, really, growing its subscriber base during the coup when it was all fucking kind of false. But former insiders say Sarandos' volume strategy began to prove destructive to the culture and the quality of the service's offerings. Ted is great at managing growth. You always want to manage your growth. But the company hit a phase where they needed to manage differently. Well, yeah, I mean, you had a bunch of woke shit that nobody watched. Yeah, that's probably Ted's fault. This person says whether...
No, it was Dave Chappelle.
It was Dave Chappelle. It was Dave Chappelle's really, pretty funny special.
He was the one. Yeah.
He was the one. Whether Holland's spendy approach itself would have... so you're admitting it was Holland spending all the money. Whether Holland's spendy approach itself would have proved sustainable is a question. No, it's not a question. We're in 9% inflation. A spendy approach is not very good right now. You fucking morons. But several creators believe Netflix lost much of its early cachet by over-rotating a less expensive, less curated, less compelling, or the company might say broader fare that simultaneously overwhelmed and underwhelmed some subscribers and cuties.
Yeah, cuties.
The 2016 arrival of CBS and Universal Television's executive Bela Bajaria, head of unscripted and international content, represented a huge turning point, according to multiple sources. By then, Holland was to oversee 80 shows on the service, and Bela was responsible for 60, who can make 140 shows a year. Asked one creative team, that's insane. That's when the culture of fear took over. The culture of fear. The culture of fear took over in 2016. You're right. But it had nothing to do with fucking content. And it had everything to do with woke entertainment, Me Too times up, and people getting fired for having beliefs, having thoughts, or women lying about them. You know, that's that. We're seeing a trial right now about that.
Right now.
That's the culture of fear. And they can't.
And you could feel it in every single show. Every single show that existed before 2016 and after 2016, you can feel the difference. I've been watching Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh,
hilarious. I love this show.
It.
So good. It's the first time I've watched it, so I'm watching it all the way through. It got up to 2016 and the show got softer.
Yep.
The show got softer. You could feel it. It started talking about political topics, like the day at the time. And it just changed, and you could see it in a ton of other shows.
But it's Always Sunny actually made its way back, where it's
that's what I'm saying.
Fun of wokeness. Like if you look at the more recent ones, like that
I haven't
show
got there
just
yet.
Holds up. When you get there, it's so good. They just make fun of everything.
I just went through season 13, which ended with that big dance number with Mac coming out as gay.
Yeah, that was
dead. And I was like, no, I don't care about him being gay. I don't care about that stuff. My only problem was that it was very sincere, which Always Sunny is not sincere. I was waiting for the punchline whenever somebody was going to get, dunked on, but nobody ever did. And I was like, wait, that was weird. So I'm hoping the next season's better. But yeah, you could feel it in all these shows. They got softer. They turned to wokeness. They turned and tried to do all this Me Too storylines, and it just does not work, and we're still feeling those ripples down the line. But it's Dave Chappelle. Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you haven't seen Mythic Quest, which is the Apple TV show. Mythic Quest with
the
guys.
McElhenney.
It's actually pretty good. It's just sort of an inside of a video game company, and it makes just like It's Always Sunny. It's definitely they're throwing softballs for sure.
I hate Apple as a corporation, as a product maker. I used to be exclusive Apple computers for a long time. Final Cut Pro guy. I'm a Final Cut Pro editor, and then they got rid of it. Remember, 20 years ago they went to Final Cut Pro X and just made it fucking Apple Movie or whatever the fuck it was. I was so pissed that I learned something. I went to Premiere. That's when I went to Adobe and went to Premiere. And everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, iPhone, I hate iPhones. I hate everything Apple now. So it's proprietary. I hate how proprietary it is. I don't know how you can exist in this world being proprietary now, especially when you're making entertainment. So it's kind of dumb. Maybe if I have access to those shows another way, possible. But
I mean, there's some decent programming on it, on that platform. It's just nobody's watching it. And that Jon Stewart show, have you heard what a disaster that is?
Yes.
When they say they had 40,000 people downloaded it to watch it, 40,000.
Oh no,
man!
The whole show is about how white people are bad. That's the whole. Every episode is white people. You're bad. He uses every episode to he's just gone way off.
Tim Pool gets more people watching his live stream at his house than that.
Right.
And
then more. You get that too.
Live.
Well, you'll get people live, and then I'm sure people watch it on the replay. I have to sometimes. We're talking about FNT.
Oh,
you're
FNT,
getting what average 150,000, 200,000 views per episode of FNT.
Closing in on 200,000. Yeah, doubling our audience in 6 months.
Yeah, that's
baseball. It sounds like CNN Plus. It does.
Yeah,
it does sound like CNN Plus.
So the fact that the Jon Stewart show, and I also think it exposes that Jon Stewart, a lot of the credit for his success has to do with his writers that read Comedy Central back in the day. I remember really liking his stuff. And he seemed also, I mean, he definitely was left leaning, but he seemed also committed to reason and facts. And that's not the case now. Now he's just off the deep end woke.
I never liked him. I just never ever liked him. I thought he sucked at MTV. I thought he sucked there. I just didn't. I didn't.
It was 100% the writers, because even like Stephen Colbert was funnier back then when he was doing the parody of a conservative. He was funnier than the jokes on conservatism at the time were funnier. Both sides were way more funny back then. I don't know who the writers were back then, but they're phenomenal compared to what Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert do now.
Well, they cared about comedy, at least. That's when Comedy Central, the comedy in Comedy Central actually meant comedy. Now it's garbage. But I'd love to see like a version of the Colbert Show, but it's like a super left wing. That would be great to just make fun of.
That would be hilarious. Yeah.
Oh yeah. My God, woke is like the easiest thing to fucking make fun of him. It's comedy gold. It's the lowest hanging fruit, and nobody's picking it except for like a few brave comedians out there, and who would be much bigger now. Like, it must be frustrating, right, to a Ryan Long or even a Chrissy Mayer or a Kyle Dunnigan to know that you are more talented than 99.9% of the comedians out there running around fucking doing shows and shit. And just like, God, they have no fucking sack. None of these fucking comedians have sack at all. Yeah. Except for Dave Chappelle, because he's allowed to. He is the system's, I hate to put it this way, court jester. That's what he is. So he is the approved court jester. He is allowed to make fun of them, but he is most definitely part of it. Don't question that. He hangs out with Obama. He's buddies with Obama. Okay, so he's part of the
court
system.
jester is very important, man. Yep. Northman, that court jester comes out. He says what the plot of the movie is in the beginning of the movie.
Yes, he does.
Court jesters are very important.
With his big fake dick hanging out, and
a lot of big fake dicks in
a lot of big
movie.
fake dicks. That movie.
Yeah,
I got a lot of actual
dicks. It's a great movie. Go watch it.
I want to watch it in my home theater, though. I do, but I should give it money. I should give it money. I mean, there's some good. I'm
gonna go.
There's some good first century Bush in it too. So
that's true. Something for everybody.
I'm just kidding. Not good. It's good.
It is kind of weird.
It's really weird.
Little saggy in the background there.
It was pretty. It was a good scene though. I liked it.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. It's called. Okay, so they have a name for this. That's interesting. The demand for we'll get to super chats right after the second paragraph here. Okay, the demand for Evermore volume did not abate. Bajaharia. Took me a minute there. Who also had responsibility for licensing TV and film content from major U.S. studios, quickly moved into Hollywood's scripted television domain. In 2017, she gave a 13-episode order to Insatiable, a dark, hour-long comedy pilot that had been rejected by the CW. Holland's team had passed on it. One prominent Netflix supplier calls Bajaharia's decision the beginning of the Walmartization of the streamer. The series also attracted negative press for fat shaming on among other sins. Being fat is not healthy. Is it done in the comedy context? If it's done in the comedy context, it's not a sin. It's comedy. Yeah. Walking up to somebody to their face and saying it, that's not cool. But saying it in the context of comedy is perfectly fine. And we need that to be perfectly fine again. That's it. That's when we'll be getting better as a society. It's called insatiable gate within the halls of Netflix. You're blaming insatiable. You're not blaming cuties.
Come on, stop it.
Cuties. Oh, here
Hollywood
come the cuties
Reporter.
defenders. It's art. It's art. I don't give a fuck what it is. It's sexualizing children up against the wall.
It's disgusting.
Yep. It gave the power of green light to several people. It caused absolute demoralization and chaos. They're talking about cuties. This is an allegory.
yeah.
This is an allegory. They are talking about cuties. Everybody thought it was a terrible thing Ted did, allowing one team to greenlight something that another team had a hard pass on. Why not? What all the teams are good. It's why you have teams. Then why not? That's stupid. They're talking about cuties.
They bring in Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, they don't really. I thought they didn't care what Rotten Tomatoes. That's.
Wait a second.
Whoa,
Kevin Smith told me.
They didn't care. What? Thought the show was critically panned. It sits at 11% on Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, so they do care about Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, okay.
Oh, wait.
Okay. It performed well enough to get a second season. It sent a message to Ted because it did okay numbers. This source continues. Ted, wanting to increase content by a huge amount, started to look to Bella as what the company should be. Cindy kept saying we should still be betting on high-end creators and making some cheaper things too. It depends on the high-end creator. A Netflix insider notes that Sarandos was impressed when Bajaharia picked up the thriller You from Lifetime, a project that Holland had rejected as a pitch. The series turned into a Netflix hit. Well, then, what's your argument? It sounds like Holland isn't fucking that great. Considering especially if she was behind putting Lauren Hissrich in charge of a dark fantasy, then she should be fired immediately. Nobody
gets fired in Hollywood. Nobody gets fired at freaking any company for doing stuff that's stupid.
Yeah, they move up.
This is why I can't wait to see Twitter. There's got to be a purge. There's got to be a purge of these rogue elements that have turned Twitter into the awful place that it is. Starting with that freaking lawyer who bawled her eyes out. Get her out. Fire
I don't
her.
want a lawyer that's gonna cry. Like straight up.
Well,
just get out.
Just get her out just for the, for the decisions that she was directly responsible for. But this just doesn't happen. I don't get it. How you don't just let people go. It's unbelievable. Ugh. Sorry, Gary.
No. This is showing how fucking inept it is. Like, for one, somebody's complaining that they pitted two teams against each other. Why? You're about competition. You're about
teams.
You're trying to get the best out of both of them. One team's going to lose. You're still the team. You're still a part of our team. You're just not all of your decisions are going to. We're not going to say yes all the fucking time. So Bella was
participation trophies, man.
Yeah, Bella was behind getting Squid Game, so she is clearly going to have more juice now because that's Netflix's biggest show of all time, like ever.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like Team Holland is there's a little bias towards. I don't give a fuck about either of them. I think they're talking about cuties. I think cuties caused a huge problem within the ranks of Netflix. I'm sure Netflix, the employees, didn't have a single problem with it because they're all a bunch of fucking raging SJW woke morons.
They're all for it, the groomers.
Yeah, they were just shocked that there was such an audience revolt that people started canceling their subscriptions, and the money people, the people who actually make decisions, were probably going, this is not a good thing. And they're like, how are you saying it's not a good thing? Well, I mean, we bought this movie based on your recommendation, and now that we look at it, it does kind of look like we're sexualizing children a little bit. We should probably not do that. You are a homophobe. What? I said sexualizing children. Homophobe? Wait, but I said sexualizing children. Homophobe? I don't know where you're getting the connection there.
We're all going to go outside and have picket signs.
Yes.
Look, we're going to make a stink on Twitter.
Yeah. So you're losing the town. Okay. Basically, it says Holland expressed unhappiness with the broader strategy. Yeah. Her competitor picked the biggest show on the network, so she's a little butthurt. You're losing the town. You cannot buy your way into an Oscar. Oscars don't mean anything anymore. They don't.
True.
Newsflash, Hollywood. The general public doesn't give a fuck about Oscars. The general public does not give a fuck about an Oscar. It will not sell it'll not sell a single ticket anymore. Good luck.
It used to be like a stamp of quality, right? It used to be a thing of like Oscar winning. Okay, not a movie I would have rushed out to see, but now and then it's like, okay, well, there's some merit to this, right? And then even like, it was just a way to also discover movies that might not be on your radar. Now it's not a resounding endorsement, and the only people that care about it are people in the industry. They care to their peers. That's what it's all about. It's getting that recognition, so that you can say, I was involved in that, right? So that's all it is. It's a badge of honor within the industry, but no one outside the industry cares anymore. And the Oscars as a show is just unwatchable. I mean, like,
unwatchable.
This year's show, I mean, there's, we don't need to go over it, but there was a
slap notwithstanding. Okay, separate that. Other than that, it was just complete trash.
I don't want to revisit that. But what's interesting is I wonder if I could find it here. Is I got a press release from the ACE, which is the American. It's basically the cinematographers. It's like the union who sent out this scathing release talking about the Oscars, because like a bunch of the technical awards were given off camera, right? But the show was so bloated with stupid music numbers. I couldn't believe that. So you're replacing people being recognized for their
achievements,
its own separate show. But like all these, get rid of the musical numbers, make the show 2 hours. Just make it a 2-hour show. Make it funny again. Hire Ricky Gervais. I kept saying, like, just get a Ricky Gervais or someone who's actually funny. It took 3 women to be less funny than one Ricky Gervais.
Right.
They tried real hard.
Well, the era of the movie star is over. So like we don't give a fuck anymore. Like it's not gonna. The Golden Globes are essentially canceled. I know they're being retooled, but they're canceled. And if they come back, they're not going to get good ratings.
No.
The other award shows nobody gives a flying fuck about, and celebrities are going to change. Celebrities are going to be something that might be in a movie too, but they might be they're going to be an internet celebrity. That's going to be the new celeb. I mean, you're always going to the vacuum will be filled with something for sure.
Right.
But I think the Johnny Depp trial, which just shows how horrible people can be to each other. And like this horrible woman who was propped up by Hollywood for years, who was just horrible and a liar. And it doesn't Johnny took advantage of an addict. She might be an addict too, which is a sad situation for both. They hope they both get sober someday. But like, it just shows how fucking, these are the motherfuckers telling us how to live. And what Hollywood has completely forgotten, and I noticed this 10 years ago, and you brought this up, was that the women do have more economic power, a lot more economic power in the household, but they're thinking about like the upper crust, like the Marin County people. They're not counting at all like we do have a working class here in the United States, right? There's the middle class is a very broad spectrum, okay? And I would argue that it's the mid to lower middle class that buys and watches most of this stuff. The upper crust people, they watch shit at home. They're too busy going to parties. They don't go to fucking movies. They don't pay attention to any of this shit. No, it's more the working class people.
Yeah, and they get all their stuff for free.
Yeah,
people give them stuff. Oh, look, you have the Oscars gift bag had tons of free stuff in it.
It was worth
like they don't really care.
$1,000.
Yeah,
they don't consume this stuff. It's all of us, and they have contempt for us.
Oh, yes, they do. Yes, they do. The middle class is hated in Hollywood. That's the perception I get until I see otherwise. Yep. So yeah, what's gonna happen is they did overspend, And I'll go back to what Bruce Campbell said. The great Bruce Campbell. The great Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell.
Was that?
I said I love Bruce Campbell.
Oh yeah, dude. He did a special at the Castro Theater in San Francisco in 2018. It was like, yes, Castro District. He went there and we watched Evil Dead 2, and then he did a Q&A afterwards. It was fucking epic. It was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. And he was just brilliant from beginning to end. And he was asked about superhero movies. And he's all, have you thought about going into any Marvel superhero movies? And at the time he was like, hell no. He's all, hell no. And he's all, let me tell you something about superhero movies. He's all, Hollywood producers can't wait for them to be over. They can't wait for them to end. They cost too much money. They hate them. They fucking hate them. And, and I mean, here we are years later. That's all they've got. But I'm sure they would like something cheaper. I mean, like, look at all the money they put into Shang-Chi, one of the most overrated fucking movies ever. All for identity politics, by the way. It maybe barely turned a profit, and I question that. I think a film making $20 million is not turning a profit. I think that barely pays for the fucking film and whatever what the digital storage and the catering, we'll say. But yeah. I just they need to make $1 billion fucking dollars now. Batman didn't make $1 billion. The Batman, and it should have. I think it should have, but it didn't. So,
yeah.
But according to Warner Brothers, it's the most watched thing on the Warner Brothers streamer. According to Warner Brothers,
I trust you,
yes.
Warner Brothers.
Yes. Okay. I mean, it might be. I'm just not going to believe the source of that. That's all. That's just Warner Brothers said it. Oh, okay. Back from Utah, says editor MG for $50. Woo! He says it sucked. Elon had the money. The real winner is Tim Pool. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. Is he? I mean, like, I give him full credit. Thank you for the $50. I think, yeah. A lot of us, probably not. Tim Pool making a lot of money for this platform does help us. Let's not doubt that for 1 second. And Crowder, he still makes money for the platform. He just doesn't make it for himself.
none of it gets to him.
None of it gets to him, but he's making money for the platform. Yeah. But yeah, Tim Pool, Crowder being around and getting the numbers they get definitely helps us. Like, that's without a doubt. And when I say us, I mean the common sense sphere. They like to call us alt-right. Mm-hmm. Anybody to the right of Marx, Karl Marx, is alt-right. I'm a pipe.
Well, we're basically just anti-authoritarian.
Right?
It's like Tim Pool and Steven, they're in the same sphere, but they're not the same.
Black.
You can't say they're the same.
Right. How does it feel to go from one pipeline to the alt-right to another pipeline?
I know. I just can't find the alt-right. I keep getting pipelines, but I never get there.
It's alt-rohirrim, by the way. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We get horses.
We got horses. We got horsies. Yeah. That was funny. I'm not going to talk that. She's just looking for a little bump for her podcast. No, thanks. Why don't you do better work? Do better work, and better. Then you'll hashtag. Yeah, hashtag do better. You'll get a little bump for your podcast. Lady, a middle-aged lady trying to pass herself off as some like 25-year-old geek girl. It's just a middle-aged fake geek girl. That sounds like a song you'd hear on like the alternative station. Well. You're just a middle-aged fake geek girl.
Fake geek girl.
Oh my
God. Okay, wait. Give me a second here. How you guys doing?
Good.
We're gonna wrap up in a bit, but I can't believe I'm so shocked that they told me the power was going to go out between 12 and 3, and it didn't for the 4th day in a row.
Government's so reliable.
They're so reliable. It's pretty messed up around here, though. Like, you could still see like frozen or dead palm trees from the big freeze last year.
Wow.
There's still a ton of them around. Yeah. Oh, dude, Texas had to rethink their entire infrastructure after that. So they're deciding to bury everything.
You would have thought they did it last 10 years ago when it happened.
Yep.
But no. Maybe they'll do it this time. We'll see.
They did my neighborhood first, so I'm totally cool with that. Just get it done. I think. By the way, this will be for the paranormal one, but like every transformer needs to be underground. Every single one needs to be underground.
Why are they not?
Because if there is a big enough solar flare,
Boom.
like the Carrington event from the 1800s, we don't have power for a year minimum.
And that is catastrophic.
That would end our
for
society.
Everything.
So every fucking transformer needs to be like shielded somehow, or there needs to be backups. Maybe they have them. I'm guessing a lot don't though, and they need to be fucking protected by rock. Because
if we're without power for a year, our society is going straight to Mad Max, like in a heartbeat. It's going to be cutthroat.
Well, you better have 2-stroke engine, going, or some horses.
I don't know how those Teslas are going to hold up.
To break out my punk rock clothes.
Yeah,
dude.
Get some
like
some
road
shoulder
warrior.
pads made out of tires and stuff.
Got a mohawk. Just like all that stuff.
Guns. Lots of guns.
Actually, I like this idea. Keep them up. Keep them above ground.
Canned goods, lots of canned goods for food.
Yeah. Eat dog food out of a can.
Yeah.
Love it. Dude, there's some prison food that tasted like dog food out of a can. It did.
That bad?
It was it was fucking
probably
bad.
close.
It was bad. But like you get hungry enough, you eat like prison bologna. Like the thought of it probably makes everybody want this sick. There's a point where you eat it, where you're like, it's fine.
You like the options,
I like the options.
Limited.
It's like, like beef stroganoff, I'm not going to eat in prison. Just not.
I feel like there's too many things you can hide in there.
Yeah, there's just I know it's in the kitchen tonight. I'm good.
I'm skipping dinner.
I'll get a cup of soup.
Do you get a choice though, Gary?
You do. You can skip a meal. If you can go to the store and get yourself like cup of soup and stuff, and it's just you just go, ooh no. Okay. Modalicious for $5. The era of the movie star is over because everyone carries a movie studio in their pocket. Oh, that is a good point, Modalicious. Well made.
That is true.
That is true.
Not just the movie studio, a theater as well.
A theater.
A movie studio, you can do everything with it.
Oh, dude. Me and my boy watched Raiders of the Lost Ark in our home theater.
What a great
I bet that was great. That was great.
Awesome, man. God damn, that movie is so good.
The opening scene alone is better than 100% of the movies we get now.
There isn't a there isn't a bad, boring moment in that entire film. It continuously moves. Had my kid's attention. He had seen it when he was younger, but this is like the first time he'd seen it when he was older. He's like, he's all Uncharted. This is what Uncharted is based on, and Tomb Raider. Yeah. Yeah.
How about that one? How about that one scene on top of the submarine with Marion?
Oh, the one that brought us all through puberty. Yeah.
Oh my God. It's very windy up there.
Very windy, and she wasn't wearing no underwear.
Oh my God, it was so great.
Such a great film.
God, she must have been freezing her ass off. But thank you, Karen Allen. Bless you.
The sad part is that you don't see there's clearly an effort when you go to see mainstream movies with regularity. You see there is an effort to desexualize everything.
Yeah.
Both men and women. And it's weird because part of the reason to go to movies is, hey, you want to see, something at least.
Yeah.
Or at least the movie X, which is this horror film that came out from A24 like a month or so ago. That thing was great. But almost nothing else. It's almost like there's an effort, and I'm sure there'll be nothing in the Doctor Strange, at all.
Well, that was weird. In the first episode of Picard, they sexed up Soji pretty good. And I'm like, oh, dang. Okay. And then they fucking desexualized her the next episode. I'm like, what? It was such a bait and switch. But the first episode, people were wearing Star Trek uniforms. They're at Starfleet, and there's a fucking there's recognizable ships. I was like, what?
Wait a second.
Fucking so cruel and evil. What
Waiting
they
for
did.
the other shoe to drop.
Yeah, they're just like, no, fuck this shit. No. Yeah. So like, I think sexualization will. I think it's gonna make a big comeback.
It has to. We are humans.
HBO.
It is a necessity.
We'll be bringing back boobies. That's what I predict. HBO Max is probably going to be the streamers that are going to survive are Amazon. I think Netflix will survive. HBO Max, Disney Plus, but Disney Plus did the kind of the Netflix model in which they threw tons of fucking money at that thing. I mean, just tons and tons. And they are. This doesn't get talked about anymore. But remember, they put like $5 billion, like with a B. Like it's going to be years until they turn a profit from this. I think the estimate was it was either 3 or 5 billion. Sorry, going off a bad memory, but I think the estimate was like 2030 was going to, like, maybe it starts making money.
Man.
Like they put a ton of money into this, and then because they're dumb, they thought that the COVID subscription rate would stay. It was just because it was new. It's not new anymore. It's old news. And you made shitty shows. Disney thought they can get away with murder. That's Kevin Feige, by the way. We don't need to put much effort into it. These dumb Marvel fans will eat up everything.
Yeah, they love it.
Yeah.
It says Marvel, they'll go to it.
Yep.
It says Star Wars, they'll go to it. It says X, they'll go to it. That was the mentality for years, and I don't think it's working out for them.
No.
Nope. Marcus Hudson for 10 British pounds says, "Hey, I am a huge fan of your content. Keep up the good work." Why, thank you. I'm sure you meant that for all of us. So thank you. Or he could have been talking about Chris. I think he's talking about Chris.
That's true.
But we appreciate that.
It's Chris.
I've eaten too much popcorn in the last 48 hours, says Editor MG for $2. You can never have too much popcorn in situations like this.
No.
Oh, yeah. Don't get sick on the popcorn, but my God, enjoy this. Kick back, say some inappropriate things on Twitter, and just enjoy yourself.
See if it flies.
See if it flies. I put
Seems to be flying. I said we should burn people the other day, and they checked it and they said it's A-okay.
The German government
Twitter's
wants to
rules.
see you.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, the Germans want to see me now? Okay. I'm going to listen to them about rules.
To see Kota Black get it?
Did you see him?
Let
He
me
said that
show
we
you
should burn heretics.
what I am used to. Nick! Sorry.
It's in here. It's in the dome. You're thinking about it.
I am. I just said retarded.
Uh-oh.
I'm still there.
But it's working.
I told Az was like, I got suspended for saying all men must die, and I said it was retarded that you got suspended for saying all men must die to see what happened.
Didn't he do it during an episode of FNT? Am I wrong about that?
It was right before it.
What?
It was when the Winter She-Hulk came out, which was a dude.
Yeah, that's
It looked like a giant dude with a wig on. And he just said all men must die because it was the Winter She-Hulk. Because they've got no story, so they're conflating like somewhat successful like stuff, runs from the mid-aughts. They got nothing. They got fucking nothing. Like, what if Miles Morales was everybody? Ha ha. Because fucking Jesus, it's so lame.
Exactly.
Oh my God. I read that one. No little interest in female playing men. Want men playing men. Says Aaron Pipes. For $5. Yeah, I think. I know that more women watched Aquaman than Captain Marvel.
It makes sense.
They made a similar amount of money, drew a similar crowd, and Aquaman had a lot more women going to that film. I wonder why.
Jason Momoa is very popular with women.
It was Amber Heard. That's what it was.
It must have been.
Yeah. Well, I love that, like, Johnny Depp, like, even mentioned in the trial, like, how do you think she got her job on Aquaman?
Yeah.
He just sort of points it out, like, no BS. Like, that's how she got her job. So.
Yep. Oh my God. She's so hot right now because she's a victim. Let's put him in our movie. Let's put her in the movie. And she was like, okay, yeah, she's hot, but she wasn't good. It's not like she was a good Mira.
No. And the accent was horrible as well.
Yeah. She cannot act. Last I checked, I'm female, says Shelly Roberts for $9.99. I want to see manly men. I want to see Geralt of Rivia fighting monsters, soldiers fighting enemies to save a village, and maybe some shirts torn off in the process. Ah, bless your heart. Sorry. It's a real woman.
We all want that, I think.
Yeah.
I think we all do.
I think
universal
it's
truth.
kind of a win-win, you know? Well, you got that and more in the Northman, for sure. Aishin, for $5, says, you're giving them too much credit. I usually do. By saying they're just stupid instead of just saying they're retarded. The feminization of male spaces has driven primarily by woke ideology. Yeah, I mean, but it's not, it's never 100% one thing. It starts with ideology. What can we use to conflate the problem to push it towards our ideology, right? So they take something legitimate. There's always a kernel of truth in the lie. There's always a kernel of truth in the lie. But I mean, like, what is the fundamental motivation of everything? I still think it's dumb people thinking they can make money off this, who are woke.
I just think we have enough evidence now to show that woke, it's not making money.
It's not making
It's
money.
just, there are just too many examples now that they have to be talking about it. They're certainly not going to talk about it, you know, in the trades at all. That will not be mentioned. But behind closed doors, I think they have to be having these conversations. I mean,
you'd hope so. You'd hope so that somebody would get through to them and be like, hey, maybe doing all these woke things and pandering to a crowd that do not go and purchase product that we make, not a good strategy going forward. Let's just maybe just curb it a little bit. Let's kind of just blanket for everybody.
Precisely. There has to be some, I mean, I have a friend of mine who's a working screenwriter who says things are loosening up. Like, he's getting meetings now.
Good.
But for a year, nothing. For more than a year, he was like living off residuals from other projects and, you know, not doing much. And he said just now it's starting to open up. So
that's good. That's
encouraging.
Hey, vamp for a second. I have to give my kid money for the gardener. Hang on.
Well, there you go.
I'll take some money.
Everyone has to do that.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
yeah,
no,
I mean,
yeah. Oh, sorry, Garrett. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna bounce off of what you were saying. Like, it's good to hear from the inside of people that are actually trying to get jobs in Hollywood. It's opening up a little bit more. People are getting more, you know, weary of this woke ideology that's come into everything. I think everybody knows that it does not make good content. I don't even think the people that like woke culture think that it's good content. There's no way that they can think that stuff like Captain Marvel is good. It's just not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could have been good. There's a million ways you could have made
great.
Captain Marvel good and like Wonder Woman, and people would have walked out of it, and like Marvel's future would be much better. But they chose to be woke instead.
Well, I think Captain Marvel has one fatal flaw, because also think about like Robert Downey Jr. and where his career was before he was cast as Tony Stark. You know, it had some highs with Chaplin. You know, he was nominated for Best Actor.
Fantastic film.
I thought he was great in Less Than Zero, a movie I saw as a kid.
Another fantastic.
Yeah, it's such a good movie.
Great soundtrack for that film. But you know, I think the fatal flaw with Captain Marvel was casting. Brie Larson is just incredibly unlikable.
Yeah.
In almost everything that she does, her sort of fake wokeness.
She's like a charisma vacuum. She just sucks it out of the fucking room.
Exactly. But think about Captain Marvel, almost the same script, but think about it. Do you remember there was a push to get Ronda Rousey to play Captain Marvel?
Yeah,
There was even like fan art of Ronda Rousey. And then, but imagine Katie Sackhoff playing that role.
Yes.
It's a different movie. If Katie Sackhoff plays Captain Marvel, that is a different film.
It's a much different film because Katie Sackhoff, for one, can act. She also has charisma. She's really good with fans. She's proven that with Battlestar Galactica. She's got a pretty decent freaking YouTube channel where she's charming just naturally. Brie Larson is none of those things, right? And none. And I can say this. I've got like what she said back in 2018 does not. It's like not even in my mind anymore. I don't care. She is forgiven for it. I don't like. She hasn't done anything or said anything incredibly stupid lately. I just think she's horrible for the role. She's just bad. She's not a very good actor. She's incredibly overhyped. Kevin Feige really likes her. Really, really likes her. But like,
I don't know why.
There's something there. There's something there. I think there's something there.
There has to be. But the fact that it's not called Captain Marvel 2 is more than telling. Than telling. And it's being released.
If she was like Robert Downey Jr., huge Iron Man level, like they were talking about making her, it would be Captain Marvel 2 with the Marvels in it. It would not be the Marvels. She didn't work. Nobody liked her in game. She had no charisma. Like whatever. Hey, Peter Parker, you got something for me?
Hi, Peter. The little growly boy says she does. Oh my god! Like that.
Everybody in the theater was like, "Please don't let her kick."
He was
Thanos' ass, please, please, please. And then he smacked her out and everybody cheered.
Yep.
Everybody cheered in my theater.
Yep.
Nobody liked her.
I'm pretty sure the Russo brothers that she was forced on because she seems so shoehorned in to the second or that, into Endgame. She's so shoehorned. And the fact that they have this whole thing of like, well, I got to go off planet because of reasons.
Reasons.
Oh God, it's so stupid. Like you were born on Earth. Don't you care about what's happening on Earth? Like there's just things that, about the character that make her unlikable. Can you imagine Ronda Rousey? You would believe her as being a pilot. You would believe like a Katie Sackhoff. Look at her character, Starbuck in Battlestar Galactica. So good. Like, and also, I have watched her YouTube channel. She's funny. She does stuff. She's likable. She's, self-deprecating. She's honest. She talks about her workout and diet, but like in an interesting way, not like in a please desperately like me way, which is
please pay attention to me.
Yeah. It's just that the whole thing should just recast her. Like, I don't know why that is not like, I don't know. Like I say, Brie Larson must have something on certain producers, which is, and when she insinuates herself, did someone say Star Wars? It's like, please go away. As if Star Wars could get any worse, that would be the one thing that could make it worse, would be her involvement.
It would.
Star Wars
that
related,
accelerism we were talking about, put Brie Larson in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yes,
no, please do. I mean, just like definitely kill it.
Oh. Like as a content creator, make that a Force movie. Oh, please put it in the production right now, like fucking Christmas present. But I think Lord of the Rings is going to be all that shit wrapped up in one. By the way, but no, they could have pulled it off with a better actress and a better story and a more experienced director, and getting into the lore instead of subverting all of it, right? And make it like the Skrulls being an immigration allegory that was just one piece of a giant puzzle. And I walked out of that movie and I swear to God, I heard people going, that wasn't that woke. I'm like, what? What? That was the single wokest fucking thing I've seen at the time. I called it Marvel's like first mistake.
That keeps happening, man. I keep walking out of things like Loki. I had friends say it's not bad. They said it's not woke. I'm like, the female Loki comes up and says this is not about you. They're literally replacing Loki with female Loki, and then like all those clips of hers. I taught myself, you're amazing, kicking Loki in the nuts over and over and over. I'm like, are we watching the same content here?
No, and it fundamentally broke the MCU. I mean, if you want to just like go to the story, there is no free will in the MCU until Lady Loki, female Loki, kills the he who remains. The he who remains version of Kang gets killed. That's when there's free will in and all of a sudden the multiverse is breaking up, but it has nothing to do with the Spider-Man movie or the multiverse Doctor Strange. What the fuck is going on? Oh yeah, they don't have a plan.
There's no plan.
There's no plan.
They've been spinning their wheels for 3 years. Can't figure out what to do. They're like, oh crap, we finished our whole story and Thanos is dead. What are we? Oh crap. I don't know. Let's just do multiverse stuff and all kinds of different directions and have no plan.
Well, that way they can reset everything. And if they were smart, that's probably what they'd have to do right now. And they probably have to go the DC route and just, like I've always said, they should recast Captain America, recast Iron Man, recast Spider-Man. These characters are bigger than any one actor. How many fucking Jokers have we had? Okay.
How many Batmen have we had? I
Yeah,
mean, look
how
at
many
you
Batman
could
have
do
we
a different
had?
take on Captain America. You could actually, for once, call him Captain America.
Yeah.
That would be a step in the right direction.
That would be a different
They've locked
take.
themselves in with this MCU, stick. They can't get outside of it. They don't want to try and recast because that is the MCU. If you change it, it could be different. It's not the MCU if somebody other than Chris Evans plays Captain America.
Well, that means it's got.
That's why I don't think this universe connecting business. It was fun while it lasted in the beginning.
It
was
should
kind
have
of cool.
an expiration date. You should have an ending.
Yeah, it needs
you should have
to
an ending. Like we're going to
end.
tell this story, and then we're going to like go with just different stories after that, or end it. You could end it. You could say that's it. That's all. That's all, folks.
I think that's
Harry Potter ended.
It's interesting. I think that's part of the reason that Marvel's having. I think stuff has to go away for a little bit. That's what was cool about Star Wars was we had those original trilogy. It went away. Then we had the prequels. Then it went away, and there was so much anticipation for the sequels. And then we don't need to rehash.
Then it came
that disaster. Then we saw it. But like maybe that's what just needs to happen. Is the Marvel universe just needs to go away, and if people are interested, they'll come back. But I do think that recasting, it's just like Gary, it's just like when they, get a new writer, illustrator team, the comic book feels different, right? It feels, which is fine. You kind of got to get used to whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's cool to see a different take on, say, the Fantastic Four, which if they screw that up with the casting, I'm going to go.
I can't believe we haven't heard yet. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
It's weird. What else?
Weird.
Well, Gary Kurtz had a lot to do with Star Wars, and when he bailed, and he and George Lucas split, that changed it. Tone
changed. I did an interview with Gary Kurtz actually. That's on the Film Threat website. You can just look up Gary Kurtz, but he talked about so many of the mistakes. He talked about, I don't know if I've mentioned this on the Nooner before, but that his problem with the special editions is that all the music cues are off.
Mm-hmm.
In the Rebel Assault on the Death Star, the music cues don't match. And George Lucas famously, he would go and he'd like give John Williams like, okay, now score the movie. Then he would go back and then he would recut the action scenes so it hit the music cues match the action on the screen.
The beats, yeah.
The beats. And when you look, like if you can find the despecialized edition, which I'm sure you're well aware of, you see how flawless, what the genius of that final scene in the original Star Wars when it was only called Star Wars. And now that in the special edition, it just doesn't work at all. That attention to detail was not there. But yeah, Gary Kurtz was like, it was really the three. It was Gary Kurtz, Marshall Lucas, and George. And when Gary Kurtz left, or when Gary Kurtz was, sent away by George, and he started to surround himself with yes men, that's when Star Wars started to decline. Although I look back on the prequels now as they've aged well.
They've aged well, but they also play out like overall, like the musical cues don't fit. There is so much that doesn't fit. Like the editing is, well, for the stuff we saw in the movie theaters, for especially for Empire Strikes Back and for Star Wars, editing was so fucking tight on those. And everything was perfect. And that ending is seared in my head from watching it in the theater. So like, yeah, I noticed the difference. That's why I don't watch them that much. Yeah. Because quite frankly,
despecialized edition.
You can look it up. I burned those, so I have copies, and you can even find someone has made like you can color print out like Blu-ray covers for yourself.
Yep. Yeah. You want a good example of like how tight their editing was? Fucking look at Raiders of the Lost Ark. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Michael Kahn and Spielberg and Lucas. That thing is just a tight movie, fucking tight movie, and that's what they were back then. And it's sad, but Gary Kurtz leaving, that changed Star Wars forever. We probably would have gotten more. Probably would have gotten more than we did. When I was a kid, I never thought we'd see the prequels. I just thought it was a pipe dream. I was like, we'll never see them. It'll never happen. I was surprised. And after the anniversary, which I think helped pay for a lot of them. That 20th anniversary, that Star Wars 20th anniversary was massive. It was fucking massive. It was like Star Wars all over again. There was lines out down the fucking street for this movie that everybody's already seen. It was cool. It was fucking cool.
Yeah, the re-releases that's the earliest memory I have of watching a movie in the theater.
Yeah, the hype for it. But but what I saw, especially how they fucked up Empire, especially with the Wampa, I was so mad. I was like, no, it's all wrong. Oh, God. Because that part, when that musical cue when he fucking gets the lightsaber, right? It's so good, and they fucked that up, and I'm like, no, that's like one of my favorite moments. Oh well. Aaron pipes. Okay, we saw that one. We can go for like 10 more minutes, and I gotta get out of here, and I know you guys do too. Gary, should Elon buy Wikipedia next and fix it? Also, check out Jupiter on IGG. Okay. Says Jason Sandberg for $10. So the comic's called Jupiter, or it's a book. Is it a comic book or a book? Should he buy? I think Elon should buy the internet. That would be my.
Yeah, he should just buy everything and fix it. I guess.
And then open it up, and then immediately give it up. Open it up, walk away. Where nobody can, no kill switches, nobody fucking own it, belongs to us. And quite frankly, I think it always will. I think it's too late to bog down the internet will always find a way, I think. But yeah, like Google and Amazon are a problem. What happened to Parler is a big fucking problem. That was collusion. That was companies colluding. What happened to Alex Jones was companies colluding. That's illegal. That is illegal. There is laws against that, and they were allowed to do that. And, I remember, I said it on my podcast. I'm like, and like the channel wasn't very big at the time. I'm like, nobody's saying anything. Nobody's doing anything. They're going to do this to everybody. And they did it to everybody. They did it to a fucking president. President. And the slippery slope started. It didn't start with Alex, but Alex was the most prominent one. Gavin McGinnis before that. Stefan Molyneux after that. Fucking
Milo. But he kind of did that to himself.
Yeah, Milo. Yeah, sometimes you just do it to yourself. Yeah. Well, what happened to him wasn't right, but then his response afterwards was just downward spiral, right? So he was young. He is young. And he's selling Bible stuff now?
Yeah, like figurines and things. Hey, good for him.
Good.
He's ungay now.
What?
If you could believe that. He's not gay anymore. I don't believe it. I don't believe that. Not Milo. That was kind of part of his charm,
Yeah. That whole thing is weird.
Big gay British man.
It's all weird. But I mean, Gavin.
I always liked Milo. Oh, sorry.
I did too. He was great.
I did too.
I thought he was funny, and I could tell he was just fucking with people. A lot of times he was fucking with people, and he was to me he was always a great guest whenever he turned up on a show. I don't understand why did he get banned again or deplatformed?
It was for resurfaced clips from Joe Rogan where he talked about how he found out that he was gay. He was diddled by some older men, and he was like kind of trying to justify it in a way, and it kind of came back and bit him in the ass, and then he got canceled, and then he kind of just spiraled after that.
You told on yourself.
Yeah.
And you get what you deserve on that. Oh, wellsies. That's right. Gavin McGinnis was another one. He's still going strong, though. He's got his own thing.
He's still got his show. Still doing it. Gavin is awesome.
Yeah,
I love Gavin.
I
worked with him. He's a very good guy.
He seems
a little bit of a diva, but I love it about him. It's Gavin.
Yeah, and I also like that he calls out bullshit a lot.
Who's not a diva? Chris Gore. Chris Gore's not a diva. That's why I like Chris Gore.
Oh, thank you for saying so. I've seen people act like that, and I'm just like, well, you have fun, But I've seen it. I've worked with some people who may have been some divas here and there,
Me
but
too.
whatever. They're not people I would hang out with, but what can you do?
Have a limousine ready.
Sometimes if you gotta be a creative, you're doing big stuff, you gotta be a little bit of diva sometimes.
Have a limousine ready.
People.
72 degrees. 72 degrees.
Green M&Ms.
Green M&Ms.
Yeah.
We got a $50 super chat from Zach Gutman. Thank you very much, Zach. This is Blake Snyder. Blake Snyder, the author of Save the Cat, was one of the guys that helped me in my early sobriety. Oh, hell yeah. Good guy.
Wow.
Hail. Oh, that's awesome to hear.
That's one of the best books on screenwriting ever, and storytelling in general too.
Yeah. There's the one thing I will give LA when I was there, excellent meetings. Some of the best meetings I've been to.
You have like the most there. It's like Mecca for most people trying.
A lot of sobriety going on. Hey, but like guys, you didn't think would it's anonymous, so I can't say. That you didn't think would make it, made it though. And like a really like
that's great.
Like 10 out of 10 sober. Like
wow.
Shaman sober. Good shit. Like, yeah. Like rock stars who were just drooling on themselves, and yeah, it's pretty cool. Did you enjoy the game yesterday, Quarter Black, from Michael Salo for $6.99 Canadian?
We lost, but it was still fun.
What's this wee shit? Were you out there playing baseball?
No, it was me and my boy. We watched it. Okay. It was my team.
Texas Rangers? Are you a Rangers fan?
I mean, just because I'm around this area.
Yeah. Who'd they play?
It was Houston. So, I mean, it was really Texas and Texas. So, I mean, we lost and we won.
Oh, Houston.
So, but we ate hot dogs. We ate cheese fries. Didn't go over well inside my
your now clean body. Yeah. I saw that picture. I was like, oh, I know those are his. Those aren't his boys' cheese fries. Those are just Garrett's
too much
cheese fries.
Too much cheese fries. I was like, look, I'm gonna eat a hot dog, so I'm gonna cheat. I might as well cheat. Don't
Dude,
cheat.
I cheated.
Don't cheat, man.
I cheated yesterday too. I did because In-N-Out's in Texas, dude.
It is. It's all over the place.
So we drove the 15-20 minutes we had to drive to get to an In-N-Out, and I couldn't.
How long did you wait?
Oh, fucking 5 minutes.
What? Man, I can't find an In-N-Out that you don't wait 30 minutes in the line. Once you make your order and you get to the, then you get to the window, it's okay, but it's that line waiting for it.
Way north San Antonio, I think. North. I have no idea where I am right now. So, but it was off the freeway, and we waited like 5 minutes. Got my double animal style. Yeah, it was good. Good. So like my kids were so fucking happy. They're like, there's an In-N-Out here. And I'm like, yes. And they're like, oh, thank God. Because I like, dude, I'll tell you right now.
Piece of home.
I've been trying. I'm not trying so much now, but I'll try again. But the pizza here.
You got to find a good one.
Leaves a lot to be desired.
Oh, no.
Leaves a lot to be desired. So they got to pick up their pizza game a little bit around these parts. But once they do that, that's fine. That's fine. There's all the other stuff, though, like steak and stuff. Whew.
Yeah.
Good. Tex-Mex.
We do the meats.
Stuff. You do the meats. That's good. And that's the important part anyway.
I have to have an excuse to get to Texas, but I hate to say this. I used to go every year to Austin for South by. And Austin's like, totally.
Dude,
I mean, yeah,
it's a hellhole.
And then South by is just incredibly woke when you look at like what the programming is, the panels, the speakers they bring in. It's just it's not just like a little. It's like super like
hardcore.
There's no balance. There's no like political balance. You think there would be in Texas? I mean. I'm sure there are blue counties, red counties, and purple counties, but
I infiltrated a safe space at South by one time and got out of it without getting banned.
And I'm just like, why do I'm just kind of shocked, like that it just sort of politically went one direction hard.
It's in Austin. It's like we went to the New York City Comic Con that we went to, a million years ago. They had those crazy panels, and even some of the smaller conventions I see have those kind of woke, progressive panels. But if you're in Austin, no holds barred. Like that is everybody is okay with pushing full on wokeness and progressivism. So it makes kind of sense that they would just
Dude, yeah, I miss
pile it on.
like the old.
I miss Austin though, man. I was born there, man.
Dude, I miss the old days
Boston.
when the weirdos were just fucking weird and like
Yeah,
didn't
man.
give a fuck about anything. Like they were all about
Like
individuality.
hippie weird, not
leave me the
diddle
fuck
kids
alone.
weird.
Like true libertarian, like weird. Like leave me alone. I'm into weird B movies, and I have a hentai collection, like shit like that. Weird, normal weird.
Healthy weird.
Healthy weird.
The phrase "keep Austin weird" was that kind of weird, like the hippie people that are like hanging out, smoking weed, and having gardens in their backyard, and maybe they post some weird stuff on the outside of their house. They do street art and stuff like that. They don't shave their armpits, but now it's like
they need to shave their
we,
motherfucking armpits though. That's a bridge.
we diddle kids. We try and push identity politics on every single aspect of all of our lives. We try to up the taxes all we can. It's not that kind of weird I love about Austin.
But here's
all
the
that
thing,
weird's
like,
gone.
South by just to see like how it's changed so dramatically, and I wouldn't even mind the woke stuff being a part of it if it was balanced by stuff that wasn't that, and there was some healthy debate / discussion between either side. And that's why I think Twitter is such an important, what's happening with Twitter now is so important, because now this discussion can now be forced into the light, right? Like the discussion needs to be had, and I feel like one side is willing to talk to the other, and the other side doesn't want to have the discussion. They just want to shut people up, and that's not going to work. That's not going to work at all. That's not how we move forward at all, by shutting people out and shutting down discussion, debate, and speech, which is why I think what Elon's done is so important. But seeing South by turn into this like super far, like this is why, like, I'm working on some film projects where I'm like, I don't even know if they'll fit. I don't even know if people will care, right? Like once they come out, it's something that could just probably potentially get me canceled. So what? But
do it.
Well, they've tried before in a couple of different. I'll tell some stories later. We're trying to wrap up the show. I don't want to tell a long story. But yeah, I really look at what happened to South by, and I look at like their programming. And it's like, what is this?
Like, who wants to go? I mean, like, that same thing with like Coachella, right? Coachella used to be my thing. My wife and I would go with her cousins, with her 50 cousins, or one of her 50 cousins, and we'd go and just run around Coachella and have fun. There'd be like fucking cool bands there. And this was long before Hollywood got a sniff of it, right?
Right.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it was all right. They took away the tailgating in the parking lot, which sucked. But we still kind of went. There were still bands we recognized. Now, like I checked in on the live stream just to see if like, and I talked to my wife's cousin today about it. She's like, no, I didn't feel any FOMO at all. Like I was much happier watching the 2 minutes. That I'm glad I missed it. There was I'm going to sound old. Some rapper on stage doing like a Black Lives Matter fucking thing. And I'm like, wow, I am so happy I missed this. Fuck this shit. Like what happened?
Gary, don't feel bad. I'm not even aware of rappers until I basically hear that they've been shot or killed. Yeah. That's pretty much like when I learn who a rapper is.
And they beat somebody else, they get
when they go to jail.
I don't know about
it. And Twitter is mad about it. Like that's why I can't wait until someone is who's actually curating the trending topics who isn't like some 22-year-old female right out of college.
Yeah, little pimp boy died. I'm like, and they're like trending, and it's like 100,000 people are straight. I'm like, what's a little pimp boy?
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm just like, I'll learn the name, and I'm like, okay, I don't know who this is. Never heard
Another
of them.
Lil died.
Another Little died. All I know is
it's weird, but yeah,
it's weird.
Weird. I can't even say
a weird
count.
We're gonna get a weird count in the chat.
Yep. Monty Watson for $20, and thank you for the he did it twice. He's all, well, I totally hosed my first super chat ever. Well, you didn't have to. Monty, email me at gary@nerdrotic.com. We can refund the first one because I wish yeah. Just hit me up. through the email. We could refund that first one. Well, I totally hosed my first super chat ever, sending this again. So thank you for the $40, sir. With my message, have you guys seen the Daily Wire's Hyperions? I loved it. Curious on your thoughts. I'm going to watch it this weekend. Have you seen it, Chris?
I did not see it, but my colleague Alan Ing saw it and he thought it was fun. It's a lot like, do you remember this James Gunn movie from years ago called The Specials?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. And I thought The Specials was pretty. James Gunn's actually in it, and he wrote it, but he didn't direct it. It was directed by a guy named Craig Mazin. But it seems like low budget and fun like that. I didn't see it, but Alan Ing saw it, and he really liked it. So
okay,
yeah.
No, it's I want to support Daily Wire. I should be watching all of their stuff. Somebody basically told me that in a message that you should be watching all of their stuff, and I'm like, you're right. Okay, I'll watch it.
Right.
You're right. I'm just not going to argue. You're right. I need to be supporting their stuff. We need to be supporting the different stuff. It's just, you know, for me, it's a lot easier to just throw up an old episode of Doctor Who that I like while I'm hanging up toys. Oh my God. I watched the 11th hour again because I talked about it. So I watched it again. Fucking love that episode so much. It's so good. That's what I do is I'll just watch stuff I've seen. It's easier.
Going back to the old stuff is always good. Yeah, okay, we're trying to wrap up though, Gary. You're getting me started on stuff. One day we need to talk about the Star Lost. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
No, what's that?
Oh my God. Okay, I'll give you the quick version. It's created by someone you know, but they took a pseudonym, Cordwainer Bird. It's a Canadian television sci-fi series. I'm pretty sure you can find all the episodes on YouTube. It stars Cara Delay, right? You know, from 2001: A Space Odyssey, right? Dave from 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yep.
So it starts off, it's an Amish community, and they notice that like all the elders are going in to basically talk to God in this cave, which is suddenly revealed. Cara Delay is sort of questioning God. They go in and discover that they're talking to a computer.
Oh.
And they come to find out Cara Delay and another male and a female that he's friends with end up discovering that they're on a starship and they're in one of hundreds of domes on the starship that have left Earth to go to another part of the galaxy. This is all revealed, but they're off course heading towards a star. So they're going from, each episode is them going from dome to dome, which is a completely different self-contained society, but they don't know that they're in a dome. And it was created by Harlan Ellison. And many of the writers on the show, which it came out in the early 70s, many of the writers of the show were old people from the original Star Trek series, like leftover ideas. In fact, Walter Koenig plays a character called Oro, this alien who's like covered in gold. It's very weird. But yeah, every episode is kind of like them solving an issue. The sort of overriding issue is they've got to get the giant starship back on course. But Harlan Ellison was so dissatisfied with the results of the show that he wanted nothing to do with it. So he used this name, Cordwainer Bird. And I've never forgotten that name. But you can look it up. Look up The Star Lost. There was a
TNG episode that was just like this, where they found that society on a starship, and they didn't know that they were on a starship.
But there's
an Orville episode that does that too.
The quality of the effects, I'm not going to lie, is kind of like Sid and Marty Krofft from the 70s. So not great, but the writing is like right there. It's like that era of great sci-fi where it's about ideas. It's about, religion, politics, war, not pushing in some sort of the way that they push agenda and or messages. It just is just food for thought. So every episode leaves you like thinking about and the fact that it starts off is just like, hey, it's this outer space show, but it starts off in some Amish community, which is just bizarre. And then Cara Delay, this sort of awakening of like, there is no God, we're on this. It's really cool. And in fact, you can find videos of Cara Delay like talking about like the show and the development of the show. But it's weird that it's I'm a Harlan Ellison fan. I mean, the guy's, that's a whole other conversation.
Well, yeah. He was perpetually unsatisfied.
Yeah. I mean, wrote one of the greatest episodes of the original Star Trek series.
Hated how it turned out, by the way.
Hated how it turned out.
Hated how it turned out. He hated everything.
Unsatisfied.
He fucking hated. But I like the guy. He also helped a lot of writers who got their shit ripped off, and he would be like a professional witness for him.
He helped me back in the day. He would call and yell at me. He subscribed to Film Threat. He would call and yell at me after every issue about how much I fucked it up and how it could be better. And then he would, just before he hung up the phone, he'd say, "All right, kid, keep up the great work. Talk to you later. Bye."
Yeah.
But remind me to tell you the story. We don't have time for this now, but remind me to tell you the story of going to Harlan Ellison's house and him taking me out for dinner, me and some buddies from Film Threat. It's a long story, but I got to see his comic book collection.
Oh,
blew my mind. So, story for another time. But look up that show, The Star Lost. It'll you'll be surprised. And also you liking really old school stuff, and how good the writing was. That's when the writing was the focus, right? That's when there was attention paid. This is why all these Disney shows and most movies suck these days, is because of the writing. So yeah, The Star Lost, check it out. And that's my last rant.
That's okay.
Sorry. To wrap up.
I'm gonna get through some soup, some donations here, and then we're gonna jump. We got a lot, so I'm gonna have to come back tomorrow. Do something tomorrow morning.
Square up.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. We got that Lord of the Rings video. That shouldn't be hard.
That's true.
Cannot wait.
That shouldn't be hard. I'll get it in the next couple of days to you. But yeah. I think we got enough going on the channel for now. Yeah, there's.
I can't wait for the Lord of the Rings one though, so it's gonna be good.
Oh, dude, and then it's reviews for a month, right? So
we have a lot of stuff to review.
We have a lot.
How is it that nothing else has come out on that show? I'm shocked. They did the teaser on the Super Bowl, and then those horrible and nothing.
There's been, isn't it weird?
I wonder
why.
Yeah, bizarre, right?
I mean, you're
super bizarre.
Baffles the mind.
It boggles and baffles the mind. They might be reshooting. I'm wondering how they plan to get a series out a year. I just don't see how that's possible. So what are they going to do? A series every 2 years? What if it's a total failure?
Yeah.
Like Westworld.
We're locked in for 5, man.
Westworld, I do not get. I do not get why they stuck with it. For as expensive that show is, it doesn't get the ratings for how expensive. It gets the ratings of your average fucking HBO show. And Westworld costs a mint. It must be because Nolan's attached to it, but he decided to give the reins over to his wife, Lisa Joy, who is nowhere near as good as a writer as he is. And Westworld, man. They're still they showed a little teaser of the 4th season. Everybody's fucking dead. Who cares? Everybody's dead. Oh God. I am bitter about that show. Yes, bitter as fuck, because I thought the first season was great. And it's one of those shows that just ran right into the Me Too Times Up era.
Yep.
All
Another
right,
casualty.
Got a $25 donation, circumventing Mama Susan, saying, "Hail Gary, chat from Lady Lilu and Cass, pronounced Cass 67. Thank you very much, Cass 67. That's spelled Kees, but that's okay. If you tell me how to pronounce it, I will try to remember, and I appreciate it. Matthew Hammond for $10. Do you think we will see Hollywood studio step out and go back to making movies that tell stories first and push ideology to the back burner? Eventually, yes. They have no choice, Matthew. They or die. It's that or die.
Mm-hmm.
Gentlemen, give Josh Brolin's new series Outer Range a shot, a suspenseful mystery show set in Wyoming. I am going to Sleeping Noble for $3 tonight. I'm going to give it a shot. We'll see. Somebody said there's woke stuff in it. I'm like, yeah, probably. If there's any woke stuff in it, I'll probably be out. But we'll see. The Art of the Real for $25. Got to give you support just for having Chris Gore on. Aw.
Oh, thanks.
We love Chris Gore.
I appreciate it.
NE Secret Weapon for $10. Yes, accelerate. I want to see Mark Hamill resurrected as Azor Ahai just to stand around as the drummer for Scott Pilgrim Saves the World from the big gay. Hail Chris, Garrett, and hail chat and free ads. You got me on that one. Saving the world from the big gay. He's talking about Mahler's Big Gay, by the way, which is
the big gay.
The big gay, which is the Force. Gary, you're cool as a person. You're cool as a person because you're a good person. Stay up, broski. Well, thanks, Jay Lev. I appreciate that. I don't know if everybody agrees with you, but that's fine. I appreciate it. Quicksilver for $1. I tried to kiss you yesterday before you signed off, but I wanted to know your thoughts. It says kiss. Thoughts on Star Killer and the Force Unleashed in white. If white Disney doesn't make characters like him anymore, by Star Killer, like if they adapt the first
Unleashed
script,
yeah, Force Unleashed.
Force Unleashed. I wouldn't want Disney anywhere near it. If like somebody else adapted it, it'd probably be good. Like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But not now. Freighter X for $10. If Marvel wants to make woke movies, why even entertain the idea of bringing in Namor, who epitomizes toxic masculinity? They'll just make him gay. That's a very easy fix. He's in a Speedo. I mean, that's obviously European or gay, but it could be both. For one, the rumor of them casting a Latino for Namor just makes no sense. Sorry, I've always seen Namor as Asian, to be honest with you. As
Same
more
here.
Asian.
Same
yeah.
here.
Yeah. Or like Pan Pacific.
Yeah. I just, that made no sense. I'm like, what? That is dumb. So I don't know if it's true, but I supposedly he's going to be in the Black Panther sequel. That's so mysterious. We don't even know who the main character is. It's going to be a dumpster fire.
Yeah, it's going to be.
And is it going to be Letitia Wright after, they've gone after her for just being someone who uses her brain?
You can't do that.
Yeah,
using your brain
yourself.
No, we don't want women thinking. We want strong women doing exactly what we tell them to do. Travis Foudy, thanks for joining the Protomolecule level on the memberships. Appreciate it. Dr. Gray for 777. You're mostly perfect. Progress, not perfection. That's how we live here. Death by Snoo. Thank you for the $1. I appreciate it. It says snoo. I don't know what a snoo is, but we all died by it. All right, we're gonna wrap things up.
My mind is willing.
Yeah, I'm good. Sometime tomorrow, I'm gonna have to do a square up, but we're gonna do a member stream this Sunday. So
Member stream.
We're gonna have a member stream in the morning. Oh my God. Thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks to the Nerdrotics. Thanks to everyone who left a super chat donation. We do appreciate you. Chris, please plug your wares, sir.
I am that Chris Gore. If you want to follow me on anything, I tweet maybe twice a week now. I'm up to like 2 or 3 times a week. And then Film Threat. Film Threat is my channel, and I'll be doing a live stream tonight. And this might interest you. We're going to be talking about cheesy exploitation movies coming from Full Moon Entertainment. And I don't know if you remember a movie from 1953 called Invaders from Mars.
Yes.
It freaked me out as a kid. Mm-hmm. It freaked me out. So oddly enough, I'm talking to one of the filmmakers who's working on the 4K restoration of that movie. And the lead actor is going to be on our live stream.
They showed it on KTLA, Channel 5.
Wow.
Oh my God. That movie you remember when someone would sort of go over the hill and they play that weird music, they get sucked into the sand. And okay, it's cheesy now looking back on it. But when I was a kid, that movie scared the shit out of me. So I can't wait. And so, yeah, I do live streams Wednesday nights on a show called Hollywood on the Rocks. And Friday mornings at 9 a.m., we just do a Film Threat live stream and talk about indie movies and movies opening that weekend. So join me for a live stream. It's fun. This is I feel like I'm learning from the master here, Gary. You're the master, and just appreciate being a part of it. Appreciate being here with Garrett and just having a conversation. Hail to everyone in the chat, and there you go.
Hail to you, sir. Also, interview with Robert Eggers on your channel, correct?
That's right. That's right. Go check that interview out. We clipped it out as a separate video, or you can watch it from the live stream. But I just appreciate being a part of it, and thank you, Gary, for being a part of the Nooner.
Of course. Quarter Black Garrett.
Hey, you can find me on my channel and also on Adam Krigler's channel tonight with 1/8 Wednesdays, where the two of us just hang out and chill and talk about the news. Probably the Elon Musk stuff. That's probably what we're going to be talking about. So that, and then also, I believe I have another live stream tonight on. I'll have to double check. Wednesdays are crazy. I can't remember which one I'm going on.
They are.
Just follow my Twitter. I'll let you know. Dude, Chris Gore, bro.
Chris Gore.
It's been so cool. It's been so cool having you on
He
here.
does need to move to Texas. A lot of people are going, we got to get Chris out to Texas.
Okay, look. You look like a Texas man already. I feel like you belong here.
I know.
Texas. There's issues with me moving.
Yep, I know you have your reasons for now. Which
but it's
for now.
Boy, it's bad. God, California's bad.
Oh
really
my God,
enticing over here.
I don't want to talk about like how far your dollar goes and how cheaper things are, and like how it's like California in certain. Well, the area I'm in reminds me of San Diego 20, 30 years ago.
A lot of chill,
cool.
a lot of chill vibes, man.
A lot of chill, cool people. I like it a lot. But then I would entice more people to come over. So we have to find a secret way.
All right.
Yeah.
But
you need like a wink or something.
Weed, totally illegal. You'll get arrested. You'll go to jail. Yeah. So, and that's the other part I like about it. So, this is a selfish, sober son of a bitch. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll be back Friday Night Tights. Our guest is Carrie Smith, and it's somebody else, too. It's Carrie Smith.
Josiah.
And Josiah.
Josiah rises.
Josiah rises.
Right.
Oh, great. Young Josiah. I just like saying that because it sounds like I'm like in 1847. Where's young Josiah?
Go get Josiah.
Yeah.
We need to have the cows milked.
Yep.
We need to make cheese and butter.
Because that's all we have to eat.
That's all we have.
Out here on the desolate prairie.
Create heat somehow without electricity. I don't know how.
Endeavor to persevere. Yeah, so that's where we're gonna wrap it up with little kitty noises in the background.
The kids are crying in the hallway.
Why is he crying? No crying.
I don't know.
No crying, kid.
It's a hallway. They run up and down all the time.
Yeah, do all kinds of stuff. Those are good. Those are good noises. All right, take it easy, everyone. We'll see you on the flip side. Bye.
Bye.
Nerdrotic.com. Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
Dame, dame.